Hi all, how's it going? We'll see how things go. I'm using the new YouTube Studio streaming system, and I've had some bad luck with this previously trying to get to work. So hopefully it behaves. Hopefully it actually does stream properly. Previously when I tried to do this, I couldn't actually get to work. So it was a bit interesting. I'm just still checking things out to make sure it's okay. It seems to be working. Cool. Guess I've got to sort out. Me and Big Clive at the same time. Damn it. Something's going to tell him to reschedule. Yeah. I don't know, it's live as well. God, that's bad. Anyway, I'm going to be fixing something, so take your pick. I'm going to do some repair work. Oh dear. Right, seems to be working alright. Almost down to the minute. Oh. Well, that's not good. People having to choose. It's my time. Sunday morning's always been my time. Well, Sunday morning for me. I suppose it's Saturday night for him. Yeah, it'd be Saturday night. So, yeah. Right. Oh well. So if you pop along, just say hello in the chat so I know who's here. I can see who's turned up. Buy a lottery ticket, yeah. It happened last time too, didn't it? Like the live stream a few weeks ago, he started one as well. Pretty sure. Yeah, anyway. We'll see how it goes. I'm a bit sleepy this morning. Didn't sleep too well last night. Got woken up. See how it goes. So the live chat in the live control room doesn't work. It's got a live chat thing, but there's no... There's nothing there. That's interesting. That doesn't work properly. Hi Dave, Chris, Zine. So yes, playing with this live system on YouTube is... So last couple of times I tried to do live streaming, I've tried to use a new live control room, and it just didn't work. It said I was streaming, it said it was live, nothing was on my main page, there was no notification sent, I couldn't see it on the live page like you guys are watching, there's nothing showing up, just streaming to nowhere apparently. So at least this time it seems to be behaving. Yeah, so I've got the live stream page open now, the normal one which you guys are all looking at, and I can see the chat in there. But if I'm looking in the control room, then I can't see the chat. It doesn't show up. So I think which is supposed to be the hub of everything you're doing when you're doing live, yeah, it's not there. That's helpful, isn't it? Oh well, I guess I have to report it or something. Can I? No, I can't. I can't give them feedback from here. No, I can't feed the back from here. So I can't tell them it's broken. Okay. Right. Linus is playing as well. Yeah, or Linus. Yeah. The new one's not good. They've still got like an exit. You can actually still use the classic version of it, which is what I've done the past couple of streams. I've used the classic version because the new one wouldn't work. So I'm using the new one now. So it's got better. I can actually use it now, but it's still not great. Anyway, we'll see how long this holds out for before my internet gets too bad. So far, I haven't dropped many frames. I've dropped a few, not many. 49 frames dropped, so that's not too bad so far. We'll see how it goes. So the plan is to work on that thing sitting on the benches there. That's what I want to work on today. Came out of blue, just something that required fixing. It's I'll get into it when we get onto it anyway. We'll discuss it then. What the story is with it. So the thing we looked at last time in the live stream, which is that Fluke 5450A resistance calibrator. Remember, I had problems with the relays on that thing, and I'm publishing a video tomorrow on that instead of a mailbag. I'm doing a repair video because I've got my mailbag items. Well, I've got 5 items, which isn't really enough. I need to try and get a few more. Video is nice and clear. Cool. Hello, Ogres. Is that Ogres? And so there's one particular relay I just playing up, that K9 relay, which was for the 19 ohm range, I think it was, 19 ohm, 19K one ohm. And I managed to strip that down, bend it around a bit more. You saw that in the video anyway. And I carried on doing that later on. I managed to get the thing working, but it still looked really weak. It just didn't seem right. Although it's functioning, I wasn't happy with it. And I actually found some more relays on eBay. Some guy had a stock of them. So I bought 3 relays. So I've replaced that particular relay and it's working fine now. So I've done a video on that. And that'll be coming out tomorrow. I uploaded it last night. And I've got to set it all up yet before I can publish it. So yeah, that's the outcome of that one. So that's working. I've got to play around with some more. I'm still not sure about things like the mega ohm ranges. Whether I've just got ambient noise which is causing difficult readings on it, or whether it's still an issue there somewhere. Maybe it's a bad relay on the mega ohm ranges. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm going to have to try and figure that out somehow. Maybe do some probing around, but I'll worry about that later on. I'm not going to do that today. And what's the other thing? I was hoping to do some MacBook stuff, but I haven't got the parts yet, so I can't do that video yet. I've got 90% of it recorded. I just need a couple of bits to turn up, which I thought turned up last week, but they didn't. Tony, we're going to be working on this thing. I believe it was a bit of a mystery what it is. You might be able to tell anyway from looking at it. Is that flickering? It is flickering. Hold on. Let's go into these bloody camera settings. Let's try and get this set up. This does this every time. Camera, where are we? There's a bit of software for this. When it launches. Here we go. Alright. I'll do the same for the other camera as well. Alright. Yeah, the settings on these cameras don't stick. So these Logitech C922s, although the quality of them is not too bad, the software is lacking a little bit. You know, it's wanting. Where you change a setting on the camera, you expect the setting to stick. It doesn't. You have to set it every time you start it up. Can't really make out what it is. It's a mystery box. Yes, it is. It's not a piece of test gear. It's just a general purpose consumer item sort of thing. It's actually my dad's, and it's died. So I thought, well, I'll do a live stream on trying to fix it. I've got no idea. I haven't even opened it up. I just know it's dead. Break something so we can fix it later. No, I don't tend to do that on purpose. Hi Ian. And Thomas, yeah. I'll say this now. Okay, but anyway. Not doing, hold on. Here we go. We've been doing this for ages. Alright. Cable set TV box. Yes. Well, very close, yeah. It's terrestrial. Hi Kim. It's terrestrial TV box. So it's like a Freeview. It's called Freeview over here. So it's digital TV box. And He's got an older TV, so it's still the old analog system. So he kind of needs that thing working. I've done a workaround for the time being, but I kind of need to get it fixed if I can. Yep. AJR, how's it going? Adam? Computer's struggling to keep the stream loaded. Yeah, I think it's a YouTube problem. I've been noticing that a lot of live streams, ones I've been watching, they keep rebuffering and that sort of stuff, and it's nothing from the sender's end. Like mine's looking okay, I've dropped 49 frames, but YouTube seems to be struggling to serve the content, and so the player on your browser may or may not have issues with buffering. So just warn you now, if you get buffering issues, you could try dropping down your quality setting. That might help you a little bit, but I think it's mainly a YouTube issue rather than your connection issue. Yes, it seems to depend on which region you're in, I think. Some places are working absolutely fine, some others are buffering. So it's a bit of a weird YouTube thing. I think it's just so many people using YouTube right now because of all the lockdowns worldwide that it's causing it to struggle somewhat. Yeah, a lot of the Paul Daniel ones I've been watching have been having issues with buffering. To me, so when I was watching the other day, it's every few seconds it's buffering. It got so bad I actually gave up in the end. So thinking PSU caps. Yes, I am thinking PSU caps. And I can demonstrate why too. Well, I think that's going to be what the problem is. Could be wrong, but I'm guessing. Marconi repair was good. Cool. Glad you liked it. It wasn't... To me, it sort of dragged on a bit in a way. I edited it down quite a bit. I think I took about 20 minutes, half an hour's worth of footage out of that video. That's what I cut out in editing, quite a bit. But, I was doing all those caps and stuff, and it was, there's little details. But the end result was the caps weren't the problem. I mean, there's only a couple of caps there which I found which were a little bit dodgy. Weren't completely gone, but they just looked a little bit off. And most of them were absolutely fine. I didn't need to change them. But at least now I've got a peace of mind knowing that most of the caps are done. There's still some I didn't do, but I got a bit tired of replacing caps in the end. I think it's not really being a problem with the caps, so I just didn't do them all. I've done 90% of them probably. C64 waiting for recap. Oh yeah. Do you watch Gadget UK? Do you watch his channel? I imagine you would do. Alright, it's a coffee. That's coffee number 2 this morning. We'll see how that goes. Still trying to wake up properly. Kind of important if we're going to be working on electronics, especially power supplies. Right. You've not heard of him? He does lots of those kinds of C64s and Acorns and stuff like that. What about Jan Beta? Do you know Jan Beta? He's another channel. Let me get some URLs for you. Hold on a second. Let's go here. I'll pull some links up for you so you can go and have a look at them later on, not now. I'll try and find them. Right, here's Gadget UK's. You know Jan? Yeah, okay, you don't need that one then. So I thought you'd be following those kind of channels, but Gadget UK is also quite interesting. It's quite a good one. He's fairly active as well. He's been doing live streams recently with repairing a A500, I think it is, whatever that is. I'll just be watching because it's been interesting. Keithley 2420. What is a 2420? Let's have a look now. Voltage and current measurement. Also by Tektronix, because Tektronix bought Keithley, didn't they? Source meter. Oh yeah, okay. Sort of thing always interests me, seeing what's around. Might be another thing I could, potentially keep my eyes open for. It's loading a page to have a look. YouTube unsubbed you from Jan. Oh, really? Yeah. Hey Rob. Yeah, I haven't done live much this year. I've been fairly quiet. Okay. Test Equity. There's a site I just found that thing on. $8,900. Yeah. Okay. I know those things do tend to be quite expensive. So it's not too surprising. No schematics, so that's a bit of a pain. Well, when it comes to understanding how things work, it's a case of just trying to break them down to smaller pieces. You just look at it in blocks. I fix plenty of things without any information about them, purely by observation, really. You just look carefully, and usually it's some physical problem or some kind of physical clue. 90% of the time, maybe more, but not always, obviously. Sometimes it just doesn't work. And then try and break down, just measure individual parts, just randomly measuring things, and you might have stumbled across something. Obviously power supply is the biggest thing. Something looks a bit wrong. Base it from that and follow that line. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So, what's this thing going? Different beast, yeah, well, I imagine it's fairly complex in there. Can't fix your relationship? No, probably not. No, it's probably doomed. Less electronics, more time with them. That usually fixes it. Yeah, anyway. So, let's have a look. Now, I've got I was working on this thing yesterday. I'll show you. I untangle all the wires. I've got all kind of stuff to my desk right now. This is a mixture of something which I built as a prototype and recap it. Yeah, generally recapping fixes 90% of the problems. I keep saying 90% today. I don't know why it keeps on coming up. It's usually about right. So this is, you would have seen me doing videos on this thing. Right, my FarmTech interface for the timers. So this is the prototype, the very first one I built. Well, the second one I built. The first one I built was on Vero board and looked really ugly, which I think I showed as well at one point. And I've dismantled it now because I don't need this prototype anymore. What I've done is I've built a tester instead. So what I'm doing is this is basically a timer simulator. So this will generate a time and output it like the timer does, the actual FarmTech timer. So I built that yesterday based on the original prototype board. I just remapped a couple of pens and redid all the software, used the same hardware, obviously without the case because I already stripped it down by then. And yeah, so that's what I was working on yesterday. I'll quickly show you. Let's plug it in. It's kind of messy. I'll reboot it so you can see the whole process. There you go. But that's not going to focus on it, is it? Of course it's not. Why did it focus on it? Like I've got it in front of the camera, eh? Alright, so that's that there, and I can start it. And it runs as a timer. And I can stop it, and I can do a push out a button, does a restart, which is what the original timer does. And those are the main functions I'm interested in the other timer. And this outputs the same data that the original timer does. And so I can use this as a simulator to test my devices here, because I've had to give the timer back. The original timer, which I had on loan from a club, at the last event we worked, I had to give it back. Because I've had it for ages and I kind of finished with it. And I figured that if I needed something now, I knew enough to be able to build a simulator, which is what I did yesterday. So yeah, that's working. I'm quite happy with that. It took me long. I thought it took me about 3 or 4 hours to build that thing. I don't know, because I was having to put serial communications into it and that sort of stuff, and I was trying to make sure I had exactly the same data formats as the original timer output, you know, so even stuff I'm not even using in my design, stuff it ignores, I made sure that's in the data stream as well, because I had taken screenshots of my scope and mapped all the data out from the serial communications. Check it out again. Yeah, stuff sitting on a bench for weeks too. Well, as an example right over here, you'll see just in the top left corner there's a laptop sitting there which I'm still trying to fix, which has been there for a while. I left it for ages and now I'm waiting for parts. 3D step motor. Oh right, step motors. I've never played with step motors, so I don't know. I'm not sure. Spotted 2 farm techs. Oh yes. Yes, those are the, over there, those are the queuing units. So those are the keyboard interfaces, which I haven't done a video on yet. I've recorded a bunch of stuff. I don't think I published it. No, I haven't. I've got it recorded. I'll probably publish that this week actually. We'll see how we go. I'm actually running out of stuff footage. I'm running out of things to do videos on. Actually, no, I've got some more stuff I can do yet. But those are the keyboard interface. So they've got the rubber keyboards, which I showed in mailbag, and they put in the dog number in those interfaces, and it queues them up. Looks up the dog number on the server for the entries against the entries of the event, and pulls up the person's name that's supposed to be running that dog, and then you confirm it again. That adds it to the queue for running the event. So it's a live queue, which also goes online on the website at the same time. I didn't show that in the video I did before. I've actually showed that part of it, where I did do a video showing the actual timer working at an event. You know, being giving results and giving faults, stuff like that. I did show that part, but I haven't shown any other part, which is the queuing system, which is what those are, and the networking interface. I think I did a little bit of video on that, and also the web server, which displays the results in the queue and everything like that as well at the same time. So it's all live. It's all live, real time. Electro Titanium have a manual for it, really. But does the manual have the service diagrams in it? The circuit diagrams? Yeah, these are for dog sports. That's basically a sports timer system. So it's got like light pole, light curtains, and when something passes through it starts the timer, and there's another set at the end of the course, and when it passes through it stops the timer. It's basically what it does. It's for doing sports. It's used in all kinds of things like equestrian as well. Lots of sports use them. But this particular set is for doing dog agility. Hey Jones again. Yeah, so that's what I tend to do on weekends when they're running. But because of the lockdown, there's no events, and so my weekends have been free, which has in a way been good because it's given me a chance to catch up with things and do some more live streams again. Which is why I didn't do live streams at the beginning of this year, because I was working one event after another for 2.5 months. Didn't have a weekend off, or a day off even for 2.5 months. So it got a bit busy and a bit crazy. But now I've had nearly 5 weeks off work, stuck in this house. Well, it's not really stuck in the house for me. I've been able to catch up with a lot of little projects and things I've been trying to get done, and in a way it's been quite good. I've been able to sort of get rid of a lot of things which I've been waiting to do and trying to get done. Yeah, well, it's unfortunate that I'm still getting paid. I still have a job. There's other people out there which aren't so fortunate. So, yeah. I'll go back to work in a couple of days' time, actually. And we're level 3. We're on level 4 lockdown now. We go to level 3 next week, which is very similar, but certain industries can go back to work. And my industry is one of the ones that go back to work. So, I'll go back to work on Tuesday morning, which is quite good. Get out of the house again. Well, we'll see how we go. It's going to be a bit interesting with the different situations there. We've got to be careful about the requirements of distancing and small groups, that kind of thing, you know. Coded door lock, you can see that, can you? Yeah, well, that's from when I had my kids here. My kids would come in the room and help themselves to tools because they want to tinker with something. Now, I wouldn't mind them helping themselves with the tools if they put them back. And so I got sick of it and ended up putting the lock on there, so they couldn't just walk in and help themselves to, screwdrivers, and I go and use a tool to try to work on something. It's like, oh, where's it gone? And I take me a week to find it. So, yeah. Anyway, the kids aren't here anymore. They've grown up and moved on, but they've still got the lock on the door. Yeah, remote working would be good. There's a lot of people are doing remote work where they can. My job, I work in manufacturing, and I'm in charge of a production shift. So I'm a leader, team leader. So I have to oversee staff in a physical environment. Also do a lot of troubleshooting and things like that as well. So I fix a lot of machinery and diagnose problems on the machine, that sort of stuff too. So I actually have to be around the machines. So even though some of the job I could do remotely, but the majority of it, which is the complex stuff, which basically is what I'm there for, is all the stuff people can't deal with. That's what I get to do. So I get the hard stuff. I go to work on, yeah. But we build our website. Yeah, I've got a few websites I run, and one of them I started in '97. And every time I look at it, I think, I should really update that. It's like, oh, it's so much work. No, I'll do it now, I'll do it later. And later's never come. Not yet. You're 60 foot on the ground on the air defence radar ops room. Well, that's fairly deep. Your remote working too, yeah. Yeah. I mean, if I was in a different job, then yeah, working from home would be nice. But the role I have is not possible. At least the majority of what I do is not possible. So, the radio was it old Radio Manual's website you had years ago? Oh yeah. Well, that site is one I built in '97 was a radio mod site, which has got lots of radio information. Although I haven't updated it in a long time, so a lot of the newer stuff isn't on there. 42-inch monitor, yeah, that'd be nice. I've got a, what have I got here, 30? 28-inch, yeah. My main monitor is 28-inch, 4K monitor. Although everything is really small on it when I hit set 4K, everything's absolutely tiny, so I have to blow it up. So it's just like a oversized 1080p, really. I suppose I'm doing 2000, something like that. 2000 bit, 2000 height, something like that. I can't remember now. Right. So the plan is to try and fix something. So we should probably get onto doing that and just have me stop waffling for a little while. No, well, yeah, a lot of the new ones can be a bit funny, yeah. It's 40 gigabytes worth of radio manuals. Bloody hell. I've got, what's mine? Let me have a quick look. Hold on a second. I was gonna be curious about this. I'm gonna forget. Hey James, how's it going? So my radio mod site is nearly 4 gig. So, but a lot of those diagram stuff are actually things I shrunk down because when I originally built it, trying to upload things was hard because I was on dial-up, and so I reduced the size and resolution of a lot of things before I put on the website. So that's the website version. The actual, let's go in here. Let's come in here. Oh, I was trying to. So the original folder, which has got all my diagrams in it, the high-res ones, that is just the diagrams alone is nearly 2 gig. And let's go. Service manuals. What's that? It keeps popping up behind my OBS window, so I can't see it. That's about 3 gig. So yeah, I've got stuff. I've actually got a bunch of stuff I haven't even put up there yet. Actually, I did collect a whole bunch of stuff, but maybe one day I'll get around to putting it up there. Hey Johnny, £5 for an Apple monitor? Yeah, no. I'm using a Mac Pro, 2010 Mac Pro, which I did a video on upgrading the CPU on, and I'm using a off-the-shelf Acer 28-inch monitor. So it's certainly a cheaper way of doing it. Although certainly the performance isn't as good as a up-to-date Apple, but this is a 10-year-old machine. It still works fine, and it's good enough for what I do. Should be legal to publish without repair info. Yeah, well, it's a bit of a. Is it copyright? Isn't it copyright? You know, it's a bit of a thing. If I got approached by a company and said you have to take it down, then I'd be taking it down. You know, but I wouldn't be fighting it. But no one's ever approached me and said, "Hey, you have to take it down." So I've been good, I suppose. Yeah, James, I saw your video about the computer, that new board you've done. Obviously, you saw my comment on it, didn't you? So, yeah, that's quite interesting. Although I do tend to watch things in like 150% playback speed because time limitations. Yeah. Right. I just need to go and do something. You can stay at the bench for a little bit and have a look. I'll be right back. I've just got to sort something out. You have to be with me. Right along. Okay, here we go. Ah, Thomas, a couple of messages of yours have been blocked now for some reason. Don't know why. Anyway. I'm gone. Yeah, no, I'm back again now. It's fine. So free music. Actually, I could have done something like that. Actually, but, you know, I need some hold music, hey. Yeah. Here you go. It's my hold music. Yeah. Anyway. If you even heard it, I don't know. Right. To the bench, anyway. We'll get on to that. This is spotless. That's probably because I gave it a clean this morning. Right. Let's get some lights on. You can see all the various units we're building here. So I've got a few more. I built 4 units of those time interfaces, and I've got a couple more to build of the dog queue ones, which are incomplete. I'm over a couple of parts. I ran out of DC and jacks and little switch mode buck converters. I do have some, but the ones I want to put in a slightly higher current version. The ones I have used before were a little bit too weak. They got quite hot. I wasn't happy with that, so I'm going to up spec them a little bit and go to a slightly bigger one. When I didn't have enough of them, I'm too short, I think. So waiting for 4 parts basically to finish those 2 units off. Right, also got this weird battery. I want to check under this one because this was a brand new battery which I had sitting in my drawers for my cordless phone, my house, and I put it in the phone because the original one was dying, and this one decided to play up as well. So the neighbour's door's going to start going off. That's awesome. Let's shut the window. Do my more magic smoke? Yeah, so I actually want to look at this because it's measuring completely dead, but when I put it in the phone it was working, so I'm not sure if it's the battery's completely failed or what. It's a bit weird. I'll have to look into that at some point. So this one I want to look at is this thing here. Could use it with a clean, but anyway. It's called Dish TV, this is the brand, but it's a UHF one, terrestrial antennas, and it basically doesn't power up properly. So I believe it's supposed to have a display on the front. I was told it's supposed to have a display. I haven't actually verified that. Can't tell. That looks just like a circuit board to me. Maybe there isn't a display. But there's a power light on the front, and that wasn't actually powering up properly. So what I'm going to do is get my camera set up and I'll record some video on this at the same time. See if I can do this without messing it up. Right. Camera's kind of right. Because I use manual focus all the time now, I have to constantly adjust the focusing. Because I've got the camera really close, it's only about 1.5 feet away from this point on the desk, so its focal distance is quite short. It only covers a really small focal distance. Well, if I had the camera further away, it might be better, but then I've got to use zoom and you actually kind of trade off again. It's just, yeah. It's actually better than it used to be, the original lens I got with the camera. Right. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Remote control, I'll need that. Okay. Oh, my computer's popped something up. What's that popping up? Java. Nah, look at later. I'm going to change the view to the zoomed in view. However, it might swap back when I move around an area because I've got my automatic switcher plugged in. In fact, I'll unplug it again. I probably won't forget. Need to finish that project. Okay. Right. I'm going to try and fix this thing. It's a digital TV receiver and it's not powering up properly. It's basically dead. We'll have a look, see if I can fix it. Let's get this thing apart. Not much hold the covers on. Once it's apart, then I'll power it up. Actually, I'll show you what it's doing. The camera might be able to see it, I'm not sure. One more screw there. Oh, 3 more screws in the back. It's a fairly old unit, I'm not sure the year. Hope you have some clues inside which tell me when it was made. Dad's had it for a little while. It's my dad's unit. Failed. TV wouldn't work anymore because he's got an older TV and it required on this thing to be able to watch the TV. Okay, let's get it out of the way. Any clues? It's got a, is that 3811? Is that 2011 or is it 2409? Could be 2009. Look at any other clues I might be able to see for dates. And that serial number starts with 11 as well. That says 99, I think. Don't know. Can't tell definitively. Can't say exactly when it's made. Obviously, anyway. Right, let's power this thing in. Power this thing up and we'll have a look and see what's actually going on. And we'll try and determine what's happening. I think I can see what's wrong already though. Let's plug it in. I might turn my lighting down so you can see. Yeah, probably won't be able to capture on camera. So here we go. You see that pulsing? LED there, it's just flicking on and off. Means the power supply is trying to start up, but it can't actually manage it. So you guys see that? Okay. focused again because I've moved it all around. Check the chat. It's worse than that, it's dead, Jim. Yeah. That thing that popped up on my screen was a driver update. Funny enough. How did you know I had a driver update pop up? Yeah, so the light pulsing is a sure sign that the power supply is attempting to start, failing, shutting off, and then attempting again. That's a symptom of a switch mode power supply failure. Which is sort of, ah, that's fairly promising. I can probably fix that. Has that view still alright? Yeah. Turn my light back on again. Also, before I forget, don't forget to subscribe, click the bell icon, and give us a thumbs up if you like this sort of video. Also, check out my merch shelf. Got things like this here, my cup, and shirts and stuff like that. Go and check those out. Helps us support the channel. And use my links down below for buy things from like Banggood and places like that. All helps. So, here's a switch my power supply to stand inside here. And if you look closely, there's a fairly obvious problem on here. So, this capacitor here is bulging. Big bulge on the top of it. This one here is also looking very slightly domed. Not much, just very slight. There's almost nothing in it. So it looks like the power supply needs recapping. So that will probably resolve it. So there's only 4 capacitors in there, I think, that I can see. So it should be fairly straightforward. It's like a pretty basic power supply. So you've got a bridge rectifier down here, the opto isolator, obviously the main smoothing filtering on the output, and that's the main switching side on this end. That's probably like a supplemental supply for the actual switching controller. So, there's not much to this power supply. It looks pretty basic. So it looks like I can actually just slide the power cable out like that. And hopefully unplug this cable here. It's kind of glued in, but I can probably prise it out. There we go. When I was describing that circuit, I kind of described it backwards, didn't I? I said that as output, but it's obviously input. Yeah, anyway, it goes this way. So the output is buggered, basically, and that is, yeah, there's definitely slightly domed. I think I'll do that one too. So that's a 22 microfarad 400 volt. If I've got one, I will replace that. And these are probably nothing too hard. What's that one? 16 volt 1000 microfarad. That other really bold one just there. Yeah. Anyway, get this board out. We'll work on it. I can probably just pop this out. There you go. 4 screws. When working on these kinds of gear, when you're working on power supplies, always be mindful that there could very well be high voltages still present on the capacitors. I'm comfortable working on this kind of thing, but if you're not so familiar with it, or you're not really mindful of what you're doing, you could easily injure yourself, or potentially kill yourself, I suppose, by getting a zap off one of these things. So I need to make sure these capacitors are discharged and that sort of stuff. So it's a pretty simple thing to do. I say that more with a disclaimer to make sure that if anyone tries to copy what I'm doing, that don't do something silly and make a mistake, which I know you shouldn't do, but may not be obvious if you're just watching. So, voltage on here, capacitor across there, got 0.6 volts, that's fine, and the other one's dead, so it's not likely to be a problem anyway, but these are really small values. Yeah, nothing on that one, that's fine. So, we're safe, I'm not going to get a zap off it. So I'm going to replace these 4 caps. It's an Archon brand. Sorry, Fcon, get it right. Never heard of them. And I don't know about these ones. They're the same brand as well. Fcon. Yeah. Isolation looks alright. It's got a slot in here as well, not to isolate at the closest point. They've done some stuff and they've done some isolation slots around as posts, mountings. So they try to take some care of design. Just they seem to use the inferior caps. Oh, mind you, it's been on for how many years? Probably just aging. Maybe they're alright, I don't know. Chat. Did I say it's a driver update? I said something popped up on the screen. I don't remember saying it's a driver update. Anyway. Hi Rob. Andrew, yes, your power supplies are easy to fix generally. Depends how bad it is. Yeah, click like. Thanks, Adam. Yeah. The number of tingles we've had. Yeah, I've had a few. Yeah, switch my power supply caps, yeah. Well, I'm going to recap the whole board. There's only 4 caps on it. So, it's not much effort. And the way to switch my power supply is trying to start and then failing. Makes you think it's detecting a bad cap and shutting off again. Can't handle the inrush current. Okay, I need my solder sucker to be turned on. And I need to get its parts. Now I'm at 400 volt, 22 microfarad. Do I have a 400 volt, 22 microfarad? It's 250 volt. Not enough. It needs to handle about 340 volts. So not in this lot. I do have some 400 volt caps. I think they're bigger. I don't think they're the right size. About 33 microfarad, nah, 47 microfarad. I can substitute something which will fit. I've got 47 at 400 volt, but I don't think it will fit in there. Slightly bigger. I might be able to squeeze it in. A larger value probably won't matter. That is just on the DC supply from straight off the rectifier. So it's purely the filtering, DC filtering. So there's no harm in upgrading that capacitor. Just physically a bit big. I'm not completely sure I'm squeezing it in that gap. If it wasn't bulged, then I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it just looks very slightly bulged. It's not much at all. Yeah. So I might go with that one. I'll see if I can get it in there. Get my DR meter out and test it before I pull it out. So that I need 1000 microfarad. Oh, I've got stuff stuck in front of my drawers. I was a bit messy. So I'll say 1000. 25 volt, 16 that's in there. Physically bigger. 10 volt, no. There's a 16. Very slightly smaller, not much. What's that one? 10 volt, no. So that's that one. What's that one need? 470 microfarads, 16 volt. Let's get some tweezers here. Yeah, all the ones I've got are quite short and fat, rather than skinny. So yeah, I think that's the best one I've got. That one there. I'm not too worried about using high quality caps because this is only a cheap consumer item. I'm not too worried about putting decent parts in there. Normally I would be, but in this particular situation, I'm not that bothered by it. You know, if it lasts a few years, that's fine. Piece of test gear, I want it to last 20 years, not a few years. So I put the highest quality I've got in those that sorts of equipment. So it's an opportunity for me to get rid of some of my less quality caps, lower quality caps, I should say. What's that one there? Let's say 10 microfarad, 50 volt. That should be easy. I've got a few of these. 50 volt. 16. It's 100 volt. Got anything worse than that? 35. 35 is probably going to be enough anyway. That's a power supply for the switch mode chip. So it probably doesn't even need that much. Let's chuck that one in there. So there are a couple of decent quality caps going in. So we've got, what's this one here? That's an Elna, which I think is actually not too bad. This one here is a Samsung, so that's a rubbish one. That's a Rubicon, that's an Ichicon. If that one goes in, we'll see. Check the chat again. Bit of buffering starting, yeah. A lot of that buffering is YouTube itself. I've only dropped 345 frames, not too bad. Looks like I need some more caps. You haven't bought any caps in a while, have I? Yeah. So I'm going to test that big cap because I'm not sure I can fit that one in there. It's just physically a bit big. It's a tight space. So, we'll see. I'll measure it and see what it looks like. Short that little, there was a little 0.6 volt sitting there, so short that out, get rid of that. Let's get this set up. Always have to switch this to capacitance, series capacitance. Just do ESR to start with. Alright. So let's test these caps and see what we've got here. So I'm going to start with this big one here, the 400 volt cap, which I'm not sure I can fit this other one in. But we'll give it a go, see if it measures okay or not for a start. I've already discharged it with the screwdriver to make sure it's definitely dead. I'm probably too high frequency here. Let's go down to 100 Hertz. So we're getting 19.8 microfarad, 12 ohms. If I do this is similar. It's not the same, but it's similar. This is a much larger value. See, the resistance is much lower, 1.4 ohms on this one. So that one probably is going bad. Significant difference there. I could check dissipation too, couldn't I? I'll go through them all first before I do that. So we've got another one over here somewhere. Don't forget, in circuit's not the best either. This doesn't necessarily give you the best in circuit readings. 425 microfarad, 0.3 ohms. And that's on 1000 microfarad, which is bulging. This is on the 470 microfarad, 425, 0.3 ohms, it's the same. They're in parallel. They are in parallel. There's an inductor here. So it's going through this inductor. It's obviously part of the filtering circuitry. Yeah. So it's like it goes through this capacitor, through that inductor, with the other capacitor there for final smoothing, just to help filter out any noise coming through. So in parallel, so I'll measure those in circuit. And then I've got one more down here. That's right, pins. 10 microfarad, 49 ohms. Well, it's the right value. 49 ohms sounds a bit high though, but again, in circuit it's a bit hard to check. I do have another test that I could try. Which I use from time to time. Look at this thing. Check the chat again. I've got, I don't know, half a dozen different LCR meters. I've got a D5000. I've got the one I did a review on long ago, which is actually very similar to this. Very similar. I forgot what it's called now. That's in my other lab, which I set up. I'm doing a video on. And I've got the one, East Tester ET441, which is on my shelf up here. You probably can't see me pointing, but it's up there. Yeah, up there. Which I did a review on. The only reason I don't tend to use it on videos because you need to see what I'm doing. And I've got obviously this Bob Parker silicon chip ESR meter, which is good for doing in circuit testing. And I've got another couple more actually. I've also got the HP, was it 42 something? I think it is. I can't remember what the number is now. But I did a repair video on that thing a couple of years ago now. Did that one. So I've got lots of LCR meters around the place. But in circuit is always the tricky part. Out circuit's easy. So let's fire this up. Lighting kind of drowns it out, that's the only problem. 0. Right, start recording video. So I'm going to try doing it in circuit testing with this ESR meter here, which is the Bob Parker ESR meter. I've had this thing a while. 0 it out. This is good for doing in circuit testing. The DEI 5000, although it can tell you roughly, but if there's a lot of circuitry around it, it can actually affect the readings. This is saying 8.2 ohms, and that big cap there in circuit. And we've got some down here, which I know is bad. Can't read it. We've got this other one which is the other side of the filter. 0.09, 0.1-ish. That's looking alright. And then we've got this one over here. 3.5 ohms. So probably okay because it's quite a small cap. So, what did I say the first one was? I've forgotten now. Eight. Yeah. So this is a high voltage cap, and it's 22 microfarads. If you look at the chart on the front here, 22 microfarad, it's heads up in resistance. So it's about 3 ohms for a 250 volt cap. So I expect it to be more like 5 to 6 ohms typically. Yeah, this is just a rough guide. If I compare it to the capacitor I've got sitting on the bench here, which is a higher value cap but same voltage, that's 0.6. So there's a big difference between what I've got here as an example cap and the one that's in here. I think that is probably bad. It does feel like it's slightly bulged. This one here is obviously really bad, couldn't read it. But there is some filter circuitry around the area, but it didn't seem to bother us. So it's quite a good little thing to have. I don't know if you still get these. This is what I used to use all the time before I had the DER. And this gives you like a meaningful capacitance measurement and that sort of stuff. It's not so good for in-circuit stuff. Whereas this is really good for that. It's nice and quick as well. Which is why it's my second go-to meter. Right, so it's replacement capacitors. So based on those readings, it looks like this thing here is actually bad, eh? It does look like it's out of whack, so I'm going to have to replace it. I do have some 400 volt caps in the other room, actually. I've got a stock of them. I've bought a whole box of 400 volt caps. I think they're fairly big though. I think they're this kind of size. What value were they? I think I might have missed some here. Don't know what they were. Completely forgotten what they were. I might quickly go and have a look and see what that capacitor is that I've got out there. So I've got a whole bunch of them, high voltage caps. Go and check them out. I'll be back in a minute. No, those caps are no good. They're 220 microfarad. Massive. Right. Chat again before I get back. Okay. So it looks like I'm going to have to replace this cap here because it does measure badly, so I think I'm going to have to change that one as well. Even though this is all I've got, I'm hoping it will actually physically fit. Height-wise, it's probably going to be alright. But yeah, it's close. Hope it will fit. Otherwise, it's very close actually. If I have to like tip it over sideways or something, get it to fit like that. I'll have to figure that out. I'll have to stand off the board. Anyway, we'll get these things out. Let's try and get my desoldering gun, which is tangled up in other cables. So I'll do the smaller ones first. Get those out of the way. This is going to be noisy. It is on. Cool. Come on. Do these one at a time. Clarity is marked on the board at least. So it's 1000 microfarad, that one. So that's this one here. This is physically slightly larger, but I think it's going to be alright. There's also this awful bloody glue on the board. I should probably do something about that too. This adhesive that they use. I see it in a lot of old CBs where, although it's very effective, it tends to corrode component legs when it gets old. This has gone quite brown already, so I'm suspicious that this could also be a bit of a problem, because what happens is when it gets old, it starts to conduct. It gets conductive, which is exactly what you want on a high voltage power supply, is slightly conductive glue. So let's just try and get rid of some of this without cutting through the component leg. Just try and get this off the board. Really, it's not getting much movement on it or anything like that. It doesn't really need physical reinforcement. But what it does need is to not be eaten through by the glue. So that's that off there. I've got this capacitor to take it anyway, so I'm going to cut through here. Bottom my component leg just there. It's quite nasty stuff, this glue. It gets everywhere, but it's obviously there to serve a function. But yeah, to me, eating through the circuitry after 10 years is probably not the best thing. I'd rather just try and remove it, get it off. This isn't too bad. Sometimes it's really quite hard to get off. That's been fairly easy. It's pretty much done. So, right, let's put a cap in. I've got it out of the way. Said you've got 2 holes here for pin spacing, which is interesting. Bet you thought ahead about that. Is that pushing together a little bit? Can't tell which hole to be using. Yeah, that fits better. Okay. Turn my soldering on too. I'll get that going. So that's that one. Let's move on to the next one. I'll test these caps as well once I've got them out. Go through that process. See what we end up getting. That was a 470, wasn't it? 470. I think it's this one. Yep. This one over here is the 10 microfarad. This is why I like having a desoldering gun. It makes it a lot easier. Sure, you can use wick as well, but I find this generally is pretty good. It's not always 100% perfect, but generally it's pretty good. That's the wrong leg, but it's desoldered. It's this one here. It doesn't fit quite so well because it's got up against that diode lead, which I think is probably just okay. Let's push that away a little bit. That's the right, that'll fit. We've got this big one. This is going to be a challenge, trying to get this other cap in there. Right. I'm fairly sure it's bad. Now, physically, can I get this in? That's the question. It's close. The other question is whether it's actually going to hit the casing, because it's quite tall. Let's bend it over there like that. We'll sit it back in there and see if it's actually protruding or not. Just look on the top. Oh, that is really close. That is close. That is probably only a millimetre in it. There's not much. So I'm not particularly happy about that. Now, can I fold it over sideways instead and try and get it cleared that way? Let's have a look. It's 400 volts, that's the only thing. Could probably do that instead. Let's spin it around a little bit. Get those leads further apart. I think I might have to do that instead. Lay it on top of the diodes like that. Not ideal, but that's the only real option I've got right now. I have to make sure I've got these lead spacing as far as I can apart, because it's 340 odd volts goes through there. So I need to make sure they're spaced out nicely. Okay. I think I'm going to have to do that. Also, I tend to put some heat shrink on there actually. I think I will do that. Straighten the leg up. Put some heat shrink on. Just insulating a little bit. Chat out before that. It's been a little while. Yes, this soldering gun's really good. They're fairly expensive. I mean, this one I've got is a cheap one. It's a really budget one I've got, and I've had a few things I've had to do to it, but it's generally pretty good. Yeah, I generally just replace them, but I tend to test them out of interest. I don't think, oh, that's still a good cap, I'll keep that one. No, they'll still go in the bin, but I like to see which ones were bad to know which what effect they could have had on the circuitry. If it had a bad cap, it might damage something, and it's nice to know where those problems were. Colours again. So I'm just going to stick some sleeving over these just to insulate a little bit. About that much, something like that. So it's going to be exposed leads, which are potentially 300 volts. It's probably a good idea. So I'm not particularly happy about doing it this way, but sometimes you've got no choice but to work around problems. slightly happy with that. Okay. Try and keep it all within the power supply as well. So I don't want it to rub or anything else. Check these other components out. So I don't want it sitting against them. Probably have to put some glue on it just to hold it all down. Right, let's solder it up. Should get my fuming straps going. Always forget that. Always. Let's just smooth these out of the way. One leg soldered, then I was check positioning. Let's tighten it up very slightly. Definitely have to glue that one. Did after I tested it. So that one done. Next one over here. This is quite a big solder, I'm just trying to get rid of it. This is 1.2mm, which I've had for years. And because it's so big it lasts a long time as well. I've been buying much thinner stuff recently, because it just works better for a lot of stuff. Been buying 0.46 and 0.56 sizes in so 37, so ratio 37, 62, 2 or something like that. I can't believe it. 62, 36, 2. So it's got some silver in it. That's what I've been tending to use instead these days. Always push the panels right down to the board. So get it soldered so it's kind of held, then press the part down so it's held in place, then do the other side. Okay, so this should be fixed now, in theory. I should clean these leads off, clean the flux off it. I should do. I'll do some measurements in a minute and we'll see what we actually got out of those other caps. See how bad they are out of circuit. Right. Get some more of these. I've only got a couple left on my shelf here. There's a lot of flux left on this board anyway, so I'm not really. This is a bit academic, really. It's not like it's precision teach test gear, but high voltage, tracking and what have you. Best to get it off. be good. So I just cleaned the reflux off the board, didn't bore you with that. So that should be repaired. I will get the hot glue gun out and glue this in place. Maybe tack these down as well, just because I don't like the way that's wobbling around everywhere. Come and check the chat. Right. Get back to that very shortly. I just want to catch up with the chat and I'll get back to it. What causes the bad caps? EMF asks. Age generally. Yeah, as Pete says, time and heat. So it's a ratio. The hotter they get, the shorter the lifetime will be. And they have a rating on them, a heat rating, and then they got a specification saying how long they can last, like a guaranteed lifetime at that heat. So it might be 85 degrees C or 105 degrees C, for example, or maybe even more than that in some cases. And they're designed to say 2,000 hours at 105 degrees C. But if you're way below that temperature, say 40 or 50 degrees C, it will far exceed that time. It depends on the quality of the caps, what they're designed to handle, that kind of thing. So generally they're pretty good. Hi David, didn't know you were there. Ceramic caps don't have the same problem. No, it's basically electrolytic caps that have that kind of aging issue. Some other types as well. Some polymer caps can have a problem too, as polymers age. But they're far less severe, less of an issue. You hear a cat? Yeah, that's one of the cats I've got. I've got 4 cats here. Outside the room, that's how loud it was. Yeah, so that's the story of those. Basically, capacitors will fail eventually. Even the best capacitors you can get will eventually fail. It's inevitable. Which is why a lot of the repairs I do it often involves replacing capacitors, because usually that's all that's wrong with it. Get a bad cap somewhere. So I'm plugging this now, so it can start cooling down again sooner. You get a bad cap somewhere, and that's it. It will just fail. You get a ripple on the power supply, and you get meaningless measurements, that kind of stuff. I kind of need to put another glue stick in, don't I? Which means it's going to end up drooling everywhere. Right, sticks it down the side here like that. Down this side here as well. On that resistor, hold it out of the way. Should be recording this, shouldn't I? So I'm hot gluing this thing now. I'm just going to try and do it around the sides where it's potentially touching things. So it helps to actually hold it away from those things. It gives it several points of contact as well. Not that it really matters that much, but show something here too on his diodes. Doesn't really require much. This is why I got this black hot glue, because it looks a lot better. Looks a lot nicer than normal. I've already unplugged the hot glue gun, so it doesn't draw as much when I finish with it, because it's only doing a little bit of glue. So I think that should do it. That's all those caps here held together with that inductor. It's all secured again. That's all held in place there. Capacitor inductor over there as well. That should be alright. That'll do the job, hopefully. Right, I'm fairly sure that'll be fine. Let's move this out of the way so I don't end up gluing the carpet or something. So, before we put that back in again, let's retest these other caps and see what we actually get out of the circuit. Thing with, you talked about capacitors before, and small ceramic caps that are in devices like iPhones and all that. Problem with ceramic caps, they don't like to have any kind of physical stress on them, and they will crack. And when they crack, they short out. So that's the typical failure mode of a lot of the surface mount capacitors is actually they short out. So, and the smaller they are and the higher the capacity they are, the smaller the layers are between each section of the capacitor, because they're like multiple layers, and they're more likely to short out if they crack. With the capacity, the higher the capacity, the more likely to short. So that's a failure mode of them. Right. Okay. 400 volt cap, 22 microfarad. Let's see what this comes up as. This is at 1 kilohertz test. If I don't slip off. $18 microfarad, 1.1 dissipation. ESR, about 10 ohms. So significantly different from the other one, which we replaced it with. Let's look at this one here. This is the 1000 microfarad, which is bulging, so obviously bad. 1200 nanofarad, not microfarad, and 0.2 K ohms. And dissipation 1.6, so yes, well, you know, the bulging gives it away anyway. And this one here, which is a 470. Dissipation 0.3, not too bad, it's getting up a little bit. The capacitance is down slightly. ESR 0.14, yeah, it's not too bad. It's probably okay, it's probably not the best quality cap. And next one, which is 10 microfarad, showing 7.7, so that's out tolerance anyway. 6 ohms, but that's not too surprising for a low value cap. 0.3 dissipation, again it's up there a little bit as well. So I'd say all the caps are probably bad, which is pretty much what I expected. So let's put this thing back together and see if we get a steady power line. Check again. Yeah, black glue stick. I got it from AliExpress. I did it in a mail bag a month or so ago, maybe a bit longer. If you look at the video descriptions of my mail bags, you'll see one there, which has got the glue stack mentioned. If you look in the past, you know, probably half a dozen mail bags, if you look in the descriptions, will be in one of those. Yeah, you can get it in different places. It's the first time I actually got it as it's supposed to be used for vehicle body repair, where you have like a puller system where you actually glue the pullers onto the bodywork and you pull it with that instead of drilling holes in and stuff like that. But it's just hot glue. That's all it is. It's just black. I think it's got a slightly different temperature profile. I think it's slightly softer, but it looks a lot nicer rather than that translucent stuff, which always looks like crap when you see it. Well, this looks 10 times better. You know, even though I've got stringy bits here. Get the stringy bits off. No, it still looks a lot nicer just with the black. You know, it just looks better. Anyway, let's get this thing back in. Right, let's get this thing reassembled. Then we can test it out and find out if we've made it better or not. I'm pretty confident. The capacitors on the main board here, they look fine physically, they look alright. There's no obvious signs of problems with those. I'm not going to go there, it's not what I want, I want a silver one. So I'm fairly sure they're okay. I mean, I don't know. JFD caps? JFD? We've got SWC over here. Yeah. Built down to a price, certainly. So I'm doing what I always do here, just put the screws in, get them lined up. You know, so it's fitted in, you know, most of the way, but not tightened down. Once they're all in, then tighten down. That way you don't get any problems with misalignment, have to go around and loosen them off again, or trying to force a screw in which is slightly off centered and then cross threading it. Just a better way of doing it. Oh, let's plug that in there. Plug the power cable back in. And I'll power this up without the cover on in case you get any magic smoke, because you never know how lucky we get. Get back on there. Okay, it's going to sit like that, which is pretty much how it was. It's sticking up. It wasn't sitting up before, was it? Sure, it's that way around. Was it just pushing down? Let's just tuck it in there. There we go. It's kind of sitting away. Alright, it's powered up and we'll see if we get any bangs, shall we? Actually, what I'll do is I'll plug into a hopping meter and then we can see what's going on. We'll do this. Set the right voltage. Yeah, close enough. 220, thereabouts. Right, it's powered up. Ready for the bang. And we have a steady green light. Don't change its colour, you turn it on or not, I don't know. Oh, there's a display, this is boot. There we go. You can't see it on camera. Now we've got a red light, which is off and showing the time. You see it there. Turn it back on. Load. There we go, it's working. It's fixed. So it's 0.5 power factor. Yeah, not wonderful. Only 5 watts though. Not too bad. Excellent. Put it back together. I'll be confident it's definitely alright. Original glue or something, I don't know. Try and get this put back in. Fingers on the sides have to go in. Here we go. So make sure you remember to subscribe, click the bell icon, and give us a thumbs up for the video. All that sort of stuff helps. And check out my links down below for the merch and Banggood links, things like that. All those kinds of little things help to finance the channel. Help me to buy things from Mailbag and best test gear to fix that kind of thing. So all those kinds of, you know, maybe $1 here or there, but if enough people do it, it all comes, you know, to quite a good amount in the end. It makes it support the channel quite nicely. Also, becoming a Patreon is also very helpful. I have currently 19 Patreons, I guess, and that helps a lot as well. So combining all the financial income from those little points allows me to buy things like you see me recently been doing some videos of PCBWay, featuring their PCBs. I've been using them, and the money from that helps me to buy things. They sponsor me and they give me a bit of money for that, as well as the free boards, and that helps me to buy items. Like I bought some test gear with that twice now. I bought 3 bits of test gear with money I've earned from combined earnings from Patreon and PCBWay and Banggood and AliExpress. I think no, I haven't cashed out AliExpress yet. I've still got some money sitting on that one. But all that combined income helps me to buy things, which is the idea of the channel. So I can use the channel to be self-sufficient, and it supports itself, which means it doesn't cost me money to run it. Right, that's fixed. So I hope you found it interesting. That's another successful repair. I'm very pleased about that. As with my dad, because he needs a thing to watch TV. So even better. So thanks for watching. Catch you later, and I'll see you next video. Don't forget the merch. Bye. All right. That was good. Pretty simple repair. So I like them. Nice and simple. Let's catch up the chat. Hey, I'm not. The stream's still going. It's only the it's only the video's recording for the repair, which is what you have to worry about. Okay, David, I'll catch you later, mate. Thanks for dropping by. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. Bit of a behind the scenes me recording video again. I quite like doing the behind the scenes things. Gives you a bit of a different perspective of what I'm doing, and you also get to see the before and after as well. If you watch the video of the actual repair as well later on, you see how much I cut out of it in the editing. So yeah, some people don't realise that I actually cut a lot of footage out when I'm doing videos. So if it's like an hour-long video, I might cut out 20 minutes of footage, for example. So sometimes I've had criticism, oh, you haven't edited a video. And, well, actually, I have. I've cut quite a bit out because I have a bit of waffle going on sometimes. Yeah, no problem, James. Thanks for dropping by. Catch you later. So yeah, it's at least that's a fairly straightforward fix. That's pretty much what I expected it to be. I'm glad I had suitable parts, albeit for the 400 volt cap. I'm going to have to get some smaller ones. Let's make a note of that actually. I like to have a range of caps, especially high voltage stuff, for these kinds of situations. Let's write this down. 22 microfarad, 400 volt. We'll get some of them, so I've got some for next time if I need them. Chances are I will never need another 400 volt 20 microfarad cap, but I'll have some. What are you talking about there? Okay. So yeah, that's good. I don't have any weekend work planned for a while because of the virus thing, you know. So I've got weekends off. I've got some other things I need to fix as well yet. So I've got my home theatre amplifier unit, which is, I've had that for a dozen years, and I picked it up from an auction site. Well, auctioneers. I think it's like a brand new item, but it had been repaired. I think it is faulty from new. It had been refurbished. I think they fixed it anyway. And I picked it up. It looked brand new, and it seemed to be new. And but that's been playing up. Once it's been on for a while, after probably an hour and a half or so, like that, maybe a bit more, it will start just shutting off. The speakers will shut off, and then it'll come back on again 5 seconds later, be alright for another couple of minutes, and then do it again. So I think it's got some kind of overheating issue, or maybe a bad joint somewhere. So that's how I do plan on fixing. So I'm probably going to do that on live stream in the future as well. Quite likely, in fact. That should be interesting. It's quite bulky. I don't know. It's that kind of size, I suppose. It's a Kenwood. Yeah, Kenwood. And it'll be interesting to see what's actually inside. I've never pulled it apart. So I don't think I have anyway. I don't remember pulling it apart. So I imagine it's probably going to be involved to get it apart, to actually get the board out and check all the solder joints, that kind of thing. Planned obsolescence maybe, but I mean, again, this is a piece of gear which is left on all the time. It's plugged in and always has power going to it. So it could be a thermal thing, it could be bad caps, maybe, but it doesn't have any problem turning on and running. It just, once it gets to like an hour and a half or 2 hours of runtime, moderate volume, then it'll shut off and then come back on again. It's obviously some kind of thermal problem. Maybe the heating compound's dried out and it's overheating a little bit. I don't know. SMD smart tweezers, yeah. I've got some SMD tweezer things which I did a review on a while ago. They're okay. I almost never use them though. I've got some. I tend to use meter probes. Where are they actually? Let's have a look. I did do a review of them at the time. Here we go. Still in a box. What I liked about this is it had the ability to measure Zener diodes, which is really all I've really used them for if I had to get in that kind of situation. So it's quite a nice case as well. It's all in there. It's even got a place for the batteries. What is this thing called? It's a whole pig. HP 4070C. Yeah. If it will focus on it, it probably won't. It tends to be a bit like that. Yeah, anyway. So, I mean, they feel a bit funny. I mean, why that had to be so long? It just makes it feel back heavy. It always wants to. It just doesn't feel particularly pleasant to use, which is a bit of a shame. If it is more balanced, if it is there in that positioning, it'd be much more comfortable to use. Because it's here, it feels like it wants to follow the back of your hand. So, I mean, they worked okay, but it's not something I tend to use. I have it here, and I have used them. And it's been handy. It's been a couple of times I've actually used it because I wanted to measure a Zener diode and confirm it was working okay. This is a nice, simple, easy way. I've had those for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years now, I think, something like that. Mastec set, okay. Where did you do that video? I don't remember seeing it. Oh well. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember seeing it. I don't know. Hi, Drevip. Drevip? I don't know how you pronounce it, sorry, mate. I'm not an electronics engineer, so I'm self-taught. So anything I show you is usually me trying to figure things out as well. Yeah. So I can't really give you any advice on sigma delta direct successive approximation ADCs. It's not something I know anything about, I'm afraid. If I'm working on a piece of test gear, for example, and it's got a piece of circuitry such as an ADC in there, then I'll try and figure out how that part works. And okay, let's make a note of that. So I work out what's relevant and what I need to know for that particular circumstance. Let's make a note of this. Right. I hate the way OBS hangs over the top of everything, so let's move it out of the way. Okay. Okay, URL noted. That's Chris. What I'd actually really like to get hold of is some decent SMD tweezers, like the hot tweezers. That's what I'd really like to get. You can obviously buy high quality, I don't know, what was it, Heiko, is it, do them, maybe some others. Hot tweezer irons, but you're talking hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and I always might do just fine without them. I'd just be something which would be nice to have. I've got these other ones here which are really tangled up right now for a start. Let's try and get them untangled. Hold on. We've got to clear my desk off this corner here. It's work I've been doing recently. Okay, so I've got this one here, which I did a review on, and it works, but it's no good for really small stuff. It's just awful for small stuff. I've only really used it a few times because they have a lot of slop in them. If I don't get it on camera there, but they just squeeze and have a lot of slop, and they don't actually come together very well. I've done some work on it, trying to tighten it up as well, but you got some misalignment there. Depending on how you squeeze them, you can shift them, a millimetre sideways, and it's just no good. And the tips aren't really sharp enough, so I don't like them that much. I've got them here on my bench, but I don't really use them. I tend to use hot air or traditional iron and work around it rather than pick this out, because I think anything less than probably 1210 would be no good. It's alright for big SMD, but small stuff doesn't do that well. I did a review on it, but I did mention some issues at the time. But they do work. They're just not as good as I'd like them to be, All I can really say is I'm glad I didn't buy them. You got the same one, have you? Okay, yeah. Navy started you off, are you? Yeah. Yeah, I think the biggest problem is that they tend to shift sideways, and it's purely because of the way they designed the housing. It's a real shame. If they designed it very slightly differently, it could have been really rigid and been much better. It's fixable, but because I don't use them that much anyway, it doesn't really bother me. I tend to do other stuff, do things other ways. But I have used them, but I found them bigger. Better stuff was bigger. Bigger stuff was better for it. So, I mean, if it bothered me enough, I'd do something about it, and I'd 3D print it. Something did cost mine was 3D print a new housing for it, and tighten it right up, and then work on trying to get those tips better. You got the Heathkit hot tweezers, yeah. Okay, you find a micro pencil better. Well, I don't even have anything that small. I mean, I'm using, what's the smallest tip I'm using? I've got the T12 tips for this, for the KSGER soldering station. That one which I did a review on about a year or so ago now. These are the tips I tend to use for it here. You've got a KU, which has got that nice tip. You've got a T12I, I think it is. The problem is they wear off, you can't read them. BC4Z, BCM2, which is another chisel kind of tip, conical chisel. I think that's the one that's concave. Yes, concave one. And I've got the JSO2. And what I've got in there now, it's a JS as well. It's another curved tip. I quite like the curved tip. You get a good surface area on a bigger item, and you also turn it around a little bit and get a small surface, small tip. You're trying to work on something a bit smaller, so it's quite versatile. But this is probably the smallest tip I've got here, this one here, which you probably can't see too well because of the camera focus. Anyway, that's, yeah, useless. Hot air, yes, I do like to use hot air as well, but sometimes you've got componentry around there, or you know, plastics and things like that. You want to be careful about not melting them, so I tend to use direct heat instead. Obviously, you can do things like, you know, put some cat on tape and things like that as well. I've got to try and put these back into my holder. No, I'll sort that later. Okay. 2 soldering irons works as well. Yeah. I'm probably leaning towards doing it that way myself, actually. Although I don't have a setup for 2 irons here. I did have it one time, but I don't have it that way at the moment. Yeah, something really small would be nice. I don't have anything smaller than those. That T12I tip, I think it's an I tip. And from those, obviously getting thermal contact through there because it's such a small tip as well. But yeah, having something really small to do work on really small things has been nice. But I don't work on iPhones electronically anyway. And if I'm doing iPhone stuff, it's usually like a screen replacement or a battery or, you know, a cable assembly kind of thing, you know, dock connector assembly, that kind of thing. I don't do surface mount repairs on those, well, component level repairs on those devices. I probably could, but I'm not sure I have the patience. And I'm fairly patient. Yeah. Well, the highest watcher number I saw during the stream before was, I think it's about 46 or 48, I think I saw it go up to. So there's been a lot more people, when I was doing that repair, it picked up quite a bit. So now the people hanging around are the ones that want to, you know, watch the chat and listen to me waffle for a little bit. So hello everyone that's watching, which aren't saying anything in the chat. If you're just hanging around watching, please do say something in the chat and say hello. Part of the reason I do the live streams is to actually chat to people and have a bit of a conversation and, you know, expand my knowledge and just socialise a little bit, I suppose. What I don't like about the iPhones, what I've seen, is the newer ones where you've got these sandwiched motherboards. You know, the logic boards are sandwiched together and you have to separate them. No thanks. The latest ones I've worked on are the 6S. That's the newest ones I've worked on. I haven't worked on anything newer than that. And I'm quite happy with that, actually. They're pretty simple. But then again, I'm not doing component level stuff. I've got the board views and diagrams and stuff like that for them. You know, I've got a copy of all that. You know, prudent to get those kind of things whilst you can. But yeah, it's just not something I've gone. Again, for that kind of thing, you need decent tools. So you do need that really fine tip soldering iron and like soldering tweezers. You do need that kind of thing to do that work, but I don't have stuff small enough for me to be comfortable with it, you know. Therefore, trying to solve one component, I'll probably be soldering the 2 components each side of it as well. I've got microscope and stuff. I can do that. I mean, I work on the MacBooks. I can do MacBook stuff, but that's a bit bigger. Yeah. What's favourite repair I've ever done? Easy repairs. I like easy repairs. I suppose you could say satisfying ones as well. I don't know. I've done so many. It's a bit hard to pick one, really. I don't know. I've done some. I think my most satisfying one is probably one of the first ones I did when I started doing YouTube, which has had very few views, and that's my what was it? It's a Fluke 6060B RF signal generator. It's one of the very first videos I did for YouTube. I think it's not the first proper repair video I did on YouTube. One of the very first, at least. Camera work was appalling. Lighting was bad. But the concepts about the repair itself I think was pretty good. I was using things like actually kind of be one of the first ones because I had my. I'm trying to think now. I'll finish the sentence in a minute. Yeah, a little thermal camera which I picked up from Banggood. So I think I always started the repair, then I got a thermal camera from Banggood. I purchased that one. It wasn't a review item. I purchased that one. So yes, I purchased it to do the repair because I was trying to track down faults. I was looking for hotspots, and with that thermal camera, I was able to find some hotspots, and I replaced some circuitry, replaced some ICs, stuff like that, and I managed to get the thing working again. So that was quite good. That was quite satisfying. I think I did about 4 or 5 videos on that one. But it's had very few views, but it's not a very good video. The series it's interesting, but poorly shot. I've come a lot bit further than that now. Still not great, but it's alright, I suppose. Yeah, I know you can buy separators and heating pads and stuff for those phones. So you can actually buy the things to work on. So it's not impossible. It's just a bit more involved. It requires a bit more care. My desoldering gun, the only issue I had with it is the vacuum tube inside of the pump. It's split. But I think it's because I had the thing apart and I was moving it around a lot, and I had the circuit board out because I was going to try and move the power LED to be on the back of the unit. So when it's sitting on my desk and I'm sitting behind it or to the right of it, I can see it's powered on. I never actually went that far. I sort of pulled it apart. No, I can't bother. And then put it back together again. And I think I had that split pipe because of that. The actual collection chamber as well, the filtering in there. I bought some better filters to put in there as well, because I found it tended to work its way back into the motor, and that you don't want bits of debris getting in through there either. It's not good for it. So I've got like a steel mesh, which I fitted in my mailbag about a year ago now probably, and other than that it's been alright. I do have a spare heating element for it. You can get heating elements, you can buy ones. I do have a spare one. I thought I'll get one whilst I can get one. I tend to do that. I'll get spare parts whilst they're available, because chances are it will fail once you can't get them anymore. The thermal camera I've got is a really cheap one. Well, that's such thing as a cheap thermal camera. It's a lower quality camera. I did a video on repairing it actually, because I purchased it and it actually had a manufacturing fault, and it worked for a minute or two and then shut off. And I actually found there's a tantalum cap had been installed backwards, and when it heated up it shorted out. So I did some videos on that. It was a couple of years ago now. That was probably 3 years ago I did those thermal camera reviews and repair. The good thing about it is I actually got money back, because I did a dispute, because I got it from AliExpress. I did a dispute on the camera saying it failed, it's faulty, and then I said I managed to fix it. Here's my video of me fixing it. I'm charging this much per hour to do the repair. And so what I charged them as far as the refund amount is I charged them my labour to fix it rather than the full amount. I was trying to be a bit fair about it. And they accepted it. That's fine. They accepted a partial refund. That went alright. So I actually got most of the money back. I think I got 3/4 money back on that thing when I bought it, because the money I charged them for repairing it. So it worked out right. So yeah, I got it cheap in the end, but they're not cheap to buy. Resistance to the heating element, I don't know. Hold on. Let's go to the bench. Here we go. Here's my spare heating element. It says 80 watts at 220 volts. Right, so bear on 220 volts. It might be different for you. But 80 watt, so you should be able to do the maths on it anyway for the resistance. So let's have a look. So if you've got a different voltage rating on yours, then obviously you're going to get a different result. I'll get the thing out of the bag. Shouldn't be that hard to get out of the bag, surely. Right. So there's 4 wires in here. 2 will be heating element, 2 will be thermocouple. I'm guessing the 2 white ones are going to be thermocouple. It could be either way, but we'll measure anyway. Measure the white ones first. That's a bit shaky. I might have to push it on something. These aren't the best probes for pushing on things. It's about 490 ohms across the white leads and the coloured leads. I was showing you short because I've got my thing on beeper. That's about 2.5 ohms. I've got, what's my lead resistance right now? About 0.4 ohms. So yeah, it's about 2.5 ohms across the coloured ones. So I don't know. Does that help for you? I don't know. Maybe it does. Can't bother sitting down trying to work out the maths. Look like an idiot because I get it wrong. Oh well. Yeah. Perhaps someone wants to work it out. So it's supposed to be 80 watts, 220 volts. You saw the resistances I've got there. Get it back in the box. Maybe that'd be of help for you. I don't know. Anyway. Right. Back over here. I found it fast. Yeah, I have fairly good organisation, I suppose. Depends on what it is. I like when it comes to soldering gear. I've got one drawer for soldering stuff. And I've got another drawer for test meters, things like that. So like multimeters and bits and pieces like that. So I tend to have them organised in that way. So some things I know exactly where they are. When it comes to parts, not so much. I've got lots of storage bins up the top here, which I think I've shown previously. I've got things like SMD parts, spare parts for test gear, Arduino and ESP modules, things like that, and hardware, displays, that kind of thing. Connectors and terminals in one box. So I've got it kind of organised in those blocks, but they're getting pretty full. You see much stuff I buy on my mailbag videos. So, tantalum caps, yeah, generally they're alright unless they're being stressed. They don't like voltage spikes. If you got over voltage on a tantalum cap, it's more likely to fail. They will last for many, many years. I rarely have to replace them. It's unusual to replace them. It's only if they've had like a power supply problem where you've been getting a lot of ripple coming through the supply, then that may cause tantalums to fail, so I don't like that. Yeah. And when they go, they're spectacular, which is why they got a bit of a name. They're short out, whereas electrolytic will go open circuit and does not work very well, whereas a tantalum will just go to a short and catch fire. Yeah, I wish mine measured like DR5000 remembered the settings as well. That would be nice. Unfortunately, it doesn't. And other meter watch I did a review on, which is very similar, had the same functionality as DR. That is the same as well. It doesn't remember the last setting, which is a real shame. It would have been a nice thing to remember the last usage state. Hi Martin, how's it going? That one there, which is sitting up there, that's an Ekins microscope, which is autofocus one. That's quite an expensive one. Okay, thanks Chris. Catch you later, mate. So that's an autofocus one. That's the same video camera which Dave did a review on, EVblog Dave, a couple of years ago now. It's exactly the same one as he did. I've done a review on it as well. And I've used it for doing MacBook repair stuff. I've got this one set up so I can actually have it quite a long way away from the actual service I'm looking at. Get a really broad view. So instead of getting a really close magnification, I'm doing a gentler magnification. I can't remember what the actual resolution is on it now. So from a further distance, so I can get a much larger area in there and just look at it bigger, Getting a bit of buffering now. 2,700 frames. Yeah, I'm dropping a bit now. Not dropping right now, but I have been dropping frames. Okay. Okay, thanks, better. So that's the Ekins one. I've also done reviews on a couple of other ones. I've got an Andon Star microscope. I can't remember what the model number is on that one now, which is also behind me. Which sits just here. This is the whole unit like this. I did a review on this one, I don't know, 6 months ago. Did it late last year. This is not a bad scope. It's obviously a much smaller working distance, but it's a nice little one because it's got a nice high-res screen. It's a 1080p screen on the front here, and so you can actually, you see me do in some of the videos, I've actually had the camera pointing at this screen whilst I'm working on something down here. So it's quite good for that for me. It's a bit more convenient to try and set up and use in that way. Whereas the Ekins one, it's a bit dusty, I haven't used it in a while, but there's the top. There's the fittings on there, so I've got HDMI, try and get it the right way. So HDMI, USB, flash, which is obviously a micro SD card, and DC 5 volts input. Alright, and Ekins. Alright, and I've got all this on here, so I've got a, what was that? So I've got a 0.5 on the top there, on the adapter, and I've got another 0.5, so 0.35 at the bottom for the Barlow lens. and I can't remember the magnification of this particular section now. Don't know what it was, but this worked quite well for doing MacBook stuff. And I can also, if I need to get it closer and get a high magnification, I'll just move the thing down. It's all focusable as well. And the other one I've got, which is the what was that one? The G600. Don't know what the brand now. Don't know what the brand number is. Brand name, but it's a G600. It's gone. I've forgotten it. That was okay. It's very, very cheap, and it's okay as a nice like hobbyist kind of help you out a little bit one. It was okay, but it wasn't the same kind of quality as these things. I haven't tried a trinocular. No, I was actually going to buy a trinocular. Then I saw this one, and I got this instead. I was actually looking to buy one, but I ended up going with this instead. Right. Yeah, I mean, having 3D vision, you know, having a proper trinocular would be beneficial. Certainly, a lot of circumstances, like trying to do like the MacBook stuff, which is the main reason I actually got the microscopes. So then you can see things a bit more detail in that way. And there's definitely benefits to it, and I think I would have liked to have got one. And I say I was looking at getting a trinocular at the time, and I had some on my watch list, you know, and I was looking at Banggood and AliExpress at the time. I think I got it from AliExpress, and I was really close to buying one. I was probably going to buy one within a couple of days, and then I saw this thing, and I thought, that looks really cool, and so I bought this instead. And this was fairly expensive because I've got all the, obviously got the metal plate and the pole and everything holds it on. And I've also got an extension, so I can go up higher. Also came with a 10-inch screen, which I've got sitting over here, just here. I'm using this for other stuff as well, so HDMI screen, 1080p. I've been using that for my FarmTech project for this web server, Raspberry Pi web server, which is sitting right here on my desk. In a mess of wires and stuff because I've not used it in a little while. So I actually used it on a Raspberry Pi web server. So, yeah. Yeah, stereo microscope, yeah. I mean, I would like to have got one. I kind of made a choice between getting that and getting the autofocus microscope. But I thought, well, the reason I went that way is because of the fact I had the outputs on it as well, so I could hook this into my OBS system here and do live streams with the microscope outputting. And that's why I went that way, because if I got a trinocular also, then I would have still had to get either a more expensive one with a decent camera on it, or get one later on as well, and it would have been more expensive. And because I hadn't really used microscopes up until that point anyway, apart from that G600 one, whatever that was, I can't remember what the bloody thing it's called now. Can't remember the brand name. I didn't have a lot of use for them, but I'm finding it more and more useful these days when I'm trying to work on bits of gear to do videos on, so I can make things bigger for people to see them on video. You ordered one yesterday, did you? Okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe one day I'll get a trinocular. I mean, I've still got it in the back of my mind that it would be nice to have one. But they are quite large, and my working space here is quite limited. You know, my bench space, the spot you can see in the camera when I'm looking at, say, that view, that is a space I've got to work in. So having extra stuff, which I have to move in and out of the space, is a bit of a pain. Well, things having, you know, permanently mounted there, I have to be a bit more careful about how to set things up, because sometimes I need a large area to work on things. yeah, I mean that's a really good camera. It's a really nice unit. So having it on something like a trinocular would be nice. It may get there one day. I may do it. We'll see. But I don't think I use it enough to really justify that extra expense. Okay, thanks EMF. Catch you later, mate. Good luck with the TRC. I mean, I've got a second lab I've got set up now, so I've got I've got a picture of it, I think. No, I don't think I've got a picture of it. I've got another room in my garage which I set up as a OF lab, I suppose, for doing radio work. I've been meaning to do that for ages. Yeah, I'll do a picture of it. Let's just get this out. I'll show you. I think I posted this the other day as well, actually. Hold on a second. Come on, open it up. Show up here. Here we go. There you go. So this is my second lab, which I've been setting up. It's not completely finished yet. It's mostly there. So you've got a Rohde Schwarz size signal generator down here. It's an SMY02. I did a repair video on that a few years ago. Got the Marconi, which you just seen a repair video on. You know, that's the one I just fixed. I've got the HP spectrum analyzer down here. So that's also had some videos done on it. Then we've got the Heathkit oscilloscope I picked up recently. I've got that over there. It's okay for that work, I suppose. Barely. It's alright. I don't do particularly high frequency stuff, so it's okay, really. Now CB works fine. Then I've got my Ragdoll Dana frequency counter down here, which is also another one to do a repair video. Got a Fluke 45 down here, which I picked up fairly cheaply at the time. I think the price has come down quite a bit on those now. They're 4.5 digit multimeters. They're quite good because it's got diode test, stuff like that. And then I've got the Agilent power supply over here, which is one of the ones I did repair on. So that's one I fixed in the video. That's there. Got my Astron power supply there, which is a 35 amp power supply, although that needs some work. I've had that power supply for 30 years. It's adjustable voltage, adjustable current. I've never done any work on it, so it's as new, and I can see that the voltage output is fluctuating, it's jumping around a little bit, so I know that I need to pull that thing apart and give it a service. So yeah, that's the LCI I did a review on about 6 months ago. A handheld one, a bit like the DER 5000, very similar to that. Did a review on that. I've got a bird watt meter up here. I've got a RCI 2950DX, I think that's right, sitting just there, which is like my bench radio used for doing testing, audio testing, so you can transmit and receive with that into a demo load. Got a UHF radio up here, and obviously a screen here and a screen here, if I can look at circuit diagrams a bit more easily. Got another Mac Pro over here, which is my old Mac Pro, which I had before this one. And also got a Goot soldering iron here. I've had this Goot soldering iron for about 20 years. Maybe a bit less, 15, 20 years, something like that. And it's looking a bit worse for wear because one of my kids decided one day to go and play with it. And he got a soldering iron tip and he basically stabbed it into the front of the soldering iron display here. So it's got all these soldering iron tip marks all along the front. It makes it look a bit rubbish. It's not a bad iron, actually, it works alright. But it's an old style, it's not like a cartridge type, so it's okay for doing CB stuff. Don't need to be that precise for a lot of radios anyway. But yeah. So that's the sub I got over there. I've also got other stuff stashed in that room. This is like my overflow room, where I was having anything I fixed which I was going to keep has gone into that room. I've got things like my audio control, SA3050 RTA, that's in there. I got my Tektronix 2432A is over there. The HP 4231 is it? I can't remember. It's the LCR meter which I fixed a couple of years ago. That's there. Anything I've fixed which isn't in this room is in that room, or if it's been sold, maybe been sold. But I haven't sold that much stuff. The market's a bit small in my country. And I sold a few things, not much. We're trying to sell these power supplies. I've got 3 of these power supplies, these Agilent ones. I've got 2 I'm trying to sell, and I've been trying to sell them for 8 months. But I need to at least get my money back on them. Anyway. Right, let's chat out. Yes, I went to look for the caps on a shelf in that room. Little white analog box again. Little white analog box. Which one did I mean? In that photo I showed you just now. One which is just above the oscilloscope. That is a bird watt meter. So it's an RF power meter. You've got different slugs you can put into it, and you can change the power ratings or the frequencies it will work on. And Goot, yes, that's right, Goot. Soldering iron. Overflow, yeah, definitely. What I fixed tonight? Well, I fixed the thing which is sitting on the desk here. That thing there. That's a digital TV receiver. The switch mode power supply failed, so I fixed that. I have some other stuff planned as well, not for today but for future videos and for future live streams. So I've got quite a few things there. See, I've been dropping some more frames, so my internet connection is definitely getting worse. It's usually around this time of day when my internet starts getting quite bad. Oh yeah. So don't forget to give us a thumbs up, everyone, and if you're not subscribed to the channel and you're watching this, subscribe if you're interested in repair videos. I have to try and get that plug in next. People forget to subscribe, or they watch a video and they go, "Oh, what was that channel again?" And they, they've lost it. I know I've done it a couple of times, so I'll try and put that in there when I remember to say it. I know a lot of you guys are probably sick of hearing it. I have to say it in every video, which is a bit tedious, but it does actually help. Getting close to 11,100 subscribers now. I just passed 11,000 the other day. It's doing quite well. Because the lockdown growth's been quite good. Been getting a lot of activity on the videos during the lockdown, obviously, because people are watching it. So, so that's been quite good. But that's obviously going to drop off again once the lockdowns finish around the world. That'll go down again. Thanks, mine. So yeah, the activity channel's been quite good. I've been quite enjoying that. Watching it do well. The past few weeks has been doing quite well. Hi Mark, how's it going? Right. So yeah, at least I managed to get that box fixed. That's quite good. That's my goal today, was to get that done. Also have some goals set to me by my wife, who would like me to go and cut the grass today. In fact, she wanted me to cut the grass yesterday, but I didn't quite get to it. So, for those of you that weren't here at the beginning, yesterday I was making this thing, which is built off a prototype. So this is the original prototype board for my FarmTech project. This is the very first revision of the board I did. And I've used it as a basis for making a simulator. So this, you would have seen in some of my videos maybe, is this unit here, the FarmTech interface. This plugs into a timer, which is a commercial timer. And it grabs the timer directly from the timer and then sends it through my wireless network to a web server, which then puts the results instantly online, that kind of stuff, and gives us a wireless system, which, yeah, for events anyway. And because it plugs into a timer, I needed to either have a timer to do testing with or make a simulator of a timer, and that's what this is now. This is a simulator. So this is for those that you weren't here at the beginning. That's what I was doing yesterday instead of cutting the grass. Should definitely cut the grass today. It's quite a nice day today actually. It's quite sunny. It's quite good. I see him dropping some more packets on the stream, so my internet's gradually deteriorating, as I expect. What else am I going to do? So I think the next live stream I'll probably be repairing the home theatre system, like Kenwood one, which I mentioned before. Connecting a Siglent generator to various circuits as an instructional video. What I generally tend to use them for is for testing bits of test gear. Like when I'm doing reviews, I'll use my generators to do basic testing, the verifications. Or if I'm working on radios, obviously, then I'll be using those to generate IO signals to work on the radios to make sure the receivers are working correctly. I don't generally tend to use them for injection. I have used them for injection, like replacing an IF and that sort of stuff. But I don't tend to do that, or checking filters, that kind of thing. I don't. It's not the sort of stuff I've usually messed with. Not to say I couldn't do something like that as an instructional thing, but it's not something I'm particularly experienced with in that way, doing it for that kind of work. I probably could cobble something together. We'll see if I get time where I've run out of things to do videos on. I'll certainly keep that in mind. Hey Graham, where's my? I've got a file here. Things to make notes about potential videos. I add it to that as my potential videos list. Using a Siglent generator. Yep. There we go. Made note as a potential future video. We'll see if I ever get there. Any other suggestions or requests for particular types of videos whilst I've got this file open? Anything anyone wants to particularly see which I have the potential to make? I can add it to this file, maybe it will happen one day. My throat's getting a bit dry now, I think I might have to stop soon. I'm dropping more frames as well. So my internet's going to be getting a bit too bad soon. So yeah, future video will be that Kenwood home theatre system. I've got that to do. I've also got a bunch of electronic cards which I showed, I think I think I showed in a live stream between 6 months and a year ago, maybe a bit longer. These are control cards from electronic control cards from injection molding machines. So I've got some which are just the cards alone from a really old machine called a Penta, Metal Mechanica Penta injection molder. These things are like 35 years old now, something like that. And these are just individual control cards from the computer system. And they look quite interesting. I've got a whole stack of them. And those are obsolete cards from machines from work. I managed to get those. I'm going to chuck them out. I managed to grab those. I thought it might make some interesting videos. Maybe get some parts off them, that kind of thing. And I've been told I'm not allowed to sell them, which is fair enough. They're only for parts, basically. I'm not allowed to sell them. And also got some control cards. Actually, I've got the whole computer unit, I think. 90% of the computer unit from another injection molding machine called a Heathkit, or Haitian, how do you pronounce it. And that is like the input and output cards of that. I did show them previously in a mailbag, not a mailbag, on a live stream. And I've got those I'd like to go through in a bit more detail and try and do some videos on those. That would be quite interesting as a standalone video rather than just featuring in a live stream. So I've got those noted down here already. So PWM instructional. Yeah, okay. There's quite a few PWM videos already out there, though. When you say instructional, what kind of instructional do you mean? Is it a particular instance? Hey, David. The calibrator, I managed to get that relay that was playing up quite badly. I managed to get that one patched up. I did get it working, but it's still very weak. It was functioning reliably, but I didn't trust it. I managed to find some more relays on eBay, so I've got 3 more relays that have arrived, and I've already fitted one to replace that dodgy relay, and that's now working pretty good. I've done some video on that, which will be published tomorrow, actually. I'm going to publish that video tomorrow. I've uploaded it last night. I've got to set it all up properly yet and put thumbnail and stuff like that for it. But that'll be published tomorrow, so you'll see the final video then. I don't think I featured... No, I didn't show what I did after the relay. So the video I publish, well, I will be publishing tomorrow. It only shows before I replace the relay, because I had it working at that point. I just thought there was not much point recording some more about the extra relay being replaced, because I had it working. So what you'll see is before I replace the relay, but it's pretty good. The only thing I'm not sure about is the mega ohm ranges, the higher ranges, whether those relays, which would be the read relays, whether they're okay or not. I'm not completely sure. Frequency control, AC and DC modes, for example. Okay. So controlling motors is something I've got no experience with. I'm just trying to think of a context that I could potentially do it in. Lighting control, I could do it as lighting control. That's pretty simple. You know, changing LED brightness or lamp brightness, that kind of thing. I put maybe motors. I've got no experience of that though, so it's not something I've actually got any real teaching ability of, because I don't have it myself yet. It's not something, not I mean I couldn't go and learn it. It's not something I play around with. So videos about radio testing. Radio testing. Okay. So probably radio testing probably include things like circuit theory as well, wouldn't it? Again, I'm just self-taught in that. I'm not trained, so I'm just a case of what I've figured out over the years and what I've managed to read in books and teach myself. Yeah, speed for DC, yeah. So then I've done PWM control. Like on my motorhome, I've got LED strip lights down the sides. They're RGB strip lights. And let's move this back down here again now. If it's going to move, or no, I'm going to grab the wrong thing. There we go. So I did RGB strip lights on that, and I did PWM on that to control the various colours they can produce. STB3. We'll see, Rob. I can barely use it myself. Well, you've got the manual. I suppose I could do something, couldn't I? I'll put it down. For those of you who don't know what the STB3 is, it's a test board by Siglent. STB stands for Siglent Test Board, and it outputs serial communications, waveforms, does digital, like MSO capabilities, signal. What am I looking for? Logic analyzer. Logic analyzer functionality as well, so you can read digital signals up 16 channels. I showed that when I was doing something with that last scope I reviewed from Rob. I think I hooked it up to that then and did some demos of that part then, of the logic analyzer function. So that's also something I can maybe dig into, because I haven't seen anything about those online. But it's quite a good little board. You can do quite a lot of testing, so it's good for testing things like oscilloscopes where you want to verify that it's set up correctly, you can read things in a certain way with the correct qualities, I suppose. And Siglent actually gave that to me via Rob when they saw me using a serial generator I built myself a little serial circuit to generate the Defpom, I think it was, and subscribe, I think I had in there, in serial data. So when I was looking at oscilloscope, I could decode that serial data and see the Defpom subscribe in there. And Siglent saw that and suggested through Rob that they give me one of these balls. Am I on ham radio? No, I'm not ham. I was going to do it many years ago, 30 odd years ago. I almost went for it. I did some training stuff, and I did learn a bit about it, and learned a little bit about MOS and things like that. And I never really progressed it. I mean, I don't actually talk on radio anyway. I just fix the things from time to time as they come up. Certainly a lot quieter now. I used to do a lot of radio repairs and conversions. I used to do quite a bit. And now it's really quiet. I've had a couple of requests, and admittedly I didn't actually reply to them, to be honest. People wanted me to do radio work, and at the time I didn't have anywhere to work on the radio, so I kind of left it. So I've got a dozen CBs in boxes waiting to be fixed, ones which got either damaged in the flood or I picked them up from overseas, and to fix them and to do videos and repairing them. So we've got about 12 radios there. I've started doing some video on one of them, and that's got a really stubborn fault with AM modulation. Well, I can't get any more than about 40% modulation out of it unless I do a hack to the modulation transformer. Then get the transmit modulation to be significantly better, but then the receive modulation is really bad. The receive audio drops right down as a consequence, so couldn't really do that hack. So I've got a problem with that particular radio. It's was it a Cobra? I think it's a 29, yeah, 29 Limited Classic. I think it's got a bad transformer, I'm not sure. But, so yeah, I've got a bunch of radios there. Some are just basic repair stuff, some are flood damage repairs, where I had a stack of radios sitting here waiting for me to fix them, or had already been fixed and I was trying to sell them, or planning to sell them. And then I had a flood come through my house a couple of years ago. For people that don't know, that's only had, I think, 5,000 subs in, I think. Might have been less than that, actually. 3,000 subs, I think, at the time. So a lot of you probably don't know about it, but my house got flooded by seawater. I live near the sea. And there was a big storm and came through and flooded the house about a foot deep. And anything that's on the floor got wrecked. But those CBs, they're repairable. I just need to get down and do it. So I'm not in the UK, I'm in New Zealand. So I used to be in the UK. I used to live in London originally. I was raised in a little place called Footscray, which is near Siglent, southeast London. I was there till I was about 10, I think, something like that. And then I moved out to a place called Whitstable, which is on the north coast of Kent. A place called Seasalter. And I was there until I come over here. How long have I been here now? Nearly 30 years I've been here. Yeah. In Brazil, eh? Okay. Yeah, the accent's not gone away, it's still here. Oh, the test gear itself, yeah, okay. Well, radio test gear. Well, a lot of stuff I've got are things I've picked up in order to do the YouTube stuff. So, a lot of it I wouldn't have had unless I'd actually been doing YouTube. So, I've picked up things like, I've had a couple of IVE signal generators. I've had a few different ones over the years, and I had I think my first proper Marconi, my first proper signal generator was a Marconi 2019. Is that 2019, 2015? It's an analog one, and it had a synchronizer attached to it, so it's like a little boxy thing. And I ended up seeing that 5 years ago, something like that, when I picked up the Marconi 2022. I can't say it, 2022. Is that a D? Is it? I can't remember which one it is. And so that was my main Marconi one then for a while. And then I was using just a Zetagi power meter, which I picked up from the UK many years ago, and I live there still. And I was using that. Then I picked up the Bird watt meter, which you saw in that photo I shot before. And what else did I have then? Audio generator, I was using my own one which I built like a little oscillator thing. And let's see what else we got. Yeah, I just got all progressed around. I've had bits and pieces come and go, and I've gradually upgraded. So I've had better and better equipment. I've had more opportunities. So I might buy something which is broken, repair it, then sell it for a little bit more money. And then that money obviously lets me buy something slightly better, which is also broken, and just progress. So that's why I've got things like the CMU 200 sitting there. I've still got the Marconi 2022. That's one of my favourite bits of gear. I've had some HP 8647s. I've had H647 and an H646. I've had those. Those are both good. I did repairs on both of those. Both been sold. They're both gone. I've got the Rohde Schwarz, which showed that photo as well. SMY02, which I picked up as a faulty one. Well, that only had really minor fault. It wasn't much. I think it was bad connections on the back board or something like that. I think it wasn't much at all. Might have been the oscillator, 10 MHz oscillator or something like that. And I kept that one because I quite like it. I like the look of it. It looks really nice. And it's only 1 GHz, I think. But I can't remember exactly what the frequency range was on that one now. But it comes in different ones. But I think it's only 1 GHz, that one. But it's not. That's fine. I don't go above that anyway. And I've picked up things like frequency counters. I used to have a little 5-digit frequency counter, a little CB one, which I modified to make it 6 digits. I had a 7-digit frequency counter. It was a Targi one, and the 5-digit one was a Galaxy, called a Galaxy frequency counter. It wasn't a Galaxy radio one. It's different. The brand was a while ago, and I've got the Philips. Another one for the Philips. I bought a frequency counter from Dick Smith's when they existed, but that wasn't very good. I wasn't happy with it. It drifted a little bit. It wasn't 100%. I ended up selling that. It was okay generally, but I wasn't particularly happy with it. And then I picked up the Philips PM6676, and I've got those Racco Danas. I've had a couple of those. I think about 3 of those. Did some repairs, sold them on. It's a lot of stuff you see me do videos on, things that I've got to do videos on, and a lot of things I've got duplications. I like to have spares. The wife refers to this occasionally. The way I have spares of things, like I've got multiple signal generators, I've got multiple power meters, multiple frequency counters, multiple multimeters, multiple soldering irons, multiple oscilloscopes. Which is why I've got been able to set up that second lab so that I can actually have that other gear I've got sitting around doing nothing. I've actually got use for it. So that's why I've got so much stuff. I've been buying it. A lot of it I bought just to do videos. I wouldn't have bought otherwise. It's as nice as it is to have nice gear. It's expensive, and doing YouTube has at least helped to pay for some of these things, because the money I make from YouTube, the various sources I have, goes back into the videos. I buy things with the money I get from it. I don't actually pocket it as such. I use it to buy more things to make more videos. So, only recently I've actually made a little bit of money from it and actually put it back in. Actually, like best test gear like that Fluke 5450A. That's purchased with money from YouTube. For the various sources, as I mentioned, and a couple of other bits are coming. I've got 2 more bits of gear coming. Yeah, I've got 2 more pieces of test gear coming. That should be arriving this week. Should be interesting. One of them I've done before. We'll see how that goes. See what that's like as far as condition. Another one of these things you wouldn't have seen me do before. Some other YouTubers have repaired it, so we'll see what situation I get. So what I end up getting it. I got it for a really good price. I just hope it's all there. That's the main thing. If it's intact, if it's a complete unit, then I'll be happy, even if it doesn't work, so I can work through those problems. We'll see what that is when it turns up. Yeah. So I've got 2 DC electronic loads. I've got one which I put up a while ago myself. I put the main hour one. Now I've got a Siglent one, which is on my shelf there, which is actually one I did a review on. I quite liked it. I ended up buying it. And yeah, I've got power supplies and it's ridiculous. I've got so much stuff now, really. I mean, a lot of it's a bit silly to keep it all. But I like, when I find something I like, I don't want to get rid of it, because I think, oh, if something fails, I need to replace that. And if I've got a spare one sitting there right now, I've got AC calibrators. I've got 2 AC calibrators sitting right here. I've got the Fluke. What the hell's this number? I've forgotten. It's been a while. 5200A. Fluke 5200A. AC calibrators. Mine I did a 19-part video series on. That's sitting here underneath this bench here. That's not completely repaired. I did in the very last video I showed, that part 19. I had a underlying fault, well, a remaining fault, which I hadn't quite fixed. I wasn't, well, I'm not even completely sure it is really a fault. I think it is, but there's a very slight ripple on certain frequencies. The noise on the AC coming out is a bit jumpy. So then I picked up a Valhalla AC calibrator, which had faults as well, which I've also fixed. I need to actually get back to looking at this one. So yes, I've got 2 AC calibrators. Yeah. I get a bit carried away with stuff. I buy too much stuff, I think. But yeah, that's trouble. You always want more. You know, you're always like, it'd be nice if I had that, or this is lacking this one particular feature. It'd be nice to have, and then you buy another one which has got that feature. Then you've got 2 things which are very similar. So yeah, but a lot of the stuff I buy is just for doing YouTube videos. You know, as I said multiple times now, I'll look out occasionally. I've got a bit of spare cash. I'll look at eBay and see what I can find. So I can spot something which looks like a good candidate for repair. Usually the biggest problem now is postage cost. Like trying to get stuff from eBay. I might be able to buy something which is broken for $100 US, right? But the postage might be $300 or $400. It's just ridiculous. It's just got ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah, too much test gear. Yeah. 2s and 3s. Yeah, exactly. See, I'm not the only one. You know, he's always got these little. You get overlaps between bits of gear. You know, it might be do something slightly differently. You know, like my LCR meters, for example, as I mentioned before. I've had my fix those again, and you know, I've got half a dozen LCR meters, different ones, different capabilities. Although there's a lot of overlap between what they'll do, you know, they'll measure capacitance pretty much. Yeah, kind of. But and some are pretty good, some are okay. They seem to work alright. A lot of these I picked them up because I thought they'd be interesting things to look at. I did to do review videos on, you know, and to do testing and just see how they work. I mean, I've got a couple of there. So look. Yeah, where are we? Did I move them? I think I may have moved them. Now, I was saying before how I always know where everything is. Now I'm wondering where the hell I put something. What have I done with those? Where did I put those? Oh, I've lost them. I don't know, there is somewhere. I might put them in the other room. I may have put them out there, yeah. So I've got a couple of little ones as well. Yeah, sometimes you need a piece of test gear to work on a test gear, exactly, yeah. That's been part of the problem too. Oh, what is bloody LCD it's called? I've forgotten now. It's got like a little OLED display on it. It's only quite small, OLED display, but it will tell you, it's like a pass-fail test. It will tell you the ESR, and if it looks about right for a capacitor of a certain capacitance range and voltage. It's just like a, I can't remember what it's called now. It's quite a nice little meter. It seemed to work okay. I think I'll put it in the other room. Yeah, 2955. Yeah, I've been watching out for one of these for ages. So I wanted to get one probably over the past couple of years. Sold it for now for 500. Wow, that long ago would have been really cheap. Hi, was it Jose? Is it? A cheap signal generator for CB radios. Well, CBs, assuming you mean 27 megahertz CBs, you don't need much, really. You could. There's lots of different ones out there. Don't get anything that does DDS, any digital signal generation. Don't get any of those, like the software-defined radio kind of things. Don't get anything like that. They are too noisy. Something that's fairly cheap is probably the Marconi 2000 series, 2022s, which is like I've got on my shelf here. They are pretty good and good enough for doing that kind of CB work. Anything that goes up to like a gigahertz will be fine. There's lots of different ones out there. If you want something really basic and really cheap, you could get something like a Marconi, as I mentioned before, the 2019s, I think it was, and with a 2015 synchronizer. I think I've got those numbers right. I'm going to have a look now, because that's going to bug me otherwise. They're analog, but they've got an overnised oscillator in them, so they're fairly stable, as long as you've got a synchronizer with it, because synchronizer's got the overnised oscillator in it. And it locks the frequency, but they're a bit tedious to get set, and I do have a little bit of drift. They're not perfect, but they are cheap. And say that 25, 30 years ago, it was what was used. I was trying to find this folder. Just look for main brands, and Marconi, HP, Rohde Schwarz. Those kinds of brands. If you want something that's going to be reliable, you need to put decent brands. It does actually matter. Is it 2171? Is that it? Hold on a second. I'm trying to find his part numbers for you. His model numbers. Yeah, TF2015A is a signal generator, and there's an attachment you can. It's not required, but it's recommended, which is the TF2171, I think it is. Yeah, TF2171 digital synchronizer. Now you can get them as a pair usually, but not. You don't always get them as a pair. Sometimes you get them individually. You have to hook them up together. And the synchronizer acts like a digital control for the RF signal generator. It's very old school, but it works alright. It's got AM/FM modulation on it, and it's perfectly adequate. You can use it for doing CB work. But if you want something a bit more modern, then yeah, you can get the newer like 2022Ds and stuff like that. Yeah, warm up time. Yeah. There's a 2022 for €5.99. Okay. So you've got to watch out for, like the Marconi 2022s, there are some parts in there which are obsolete. So you have to make sure you get one which is actually working, not one which is broken. You can get some replacement parts, like aftermarket, someone's made some. But you have to be a little bit careful, make sure it's a fully working unit if you're going to get one of those. There's different versions as well, A, B, C and D. You want to try and get the later revision if you can. They've got some fixes inside them, if you go for that particular one. Ah, hey buddy, how's it going? Again, it depends on what your budget's like too. You know, if you got a bigger budget, then you might want to go for something better. Like the Marconi 1222 is a good little unit. That's what I've got. It's really compact. It's quite small. Fits on the shelf really easily, and it's a nice little unit. It does adequately for CB work. My buddy there's got an IFR 1200S, I think it was. I think you had, and amongst some other things. And it's got other ones as well. You can get Rohde Schwarz to do a few. I've got a CMU 200 here, which is okay. Has some other features in there, but in some ways it's also restrictive. You can't do everything you want to do with it unless you're using the name's gone. The IEEE 488, whatever it is, on the back. Computer control instead. So, someone, I talk about radio work, doing CB stuff. You may be familiar with Buddy, the radio shop. He does CBs and radio work, ham radio stuff. Maybe I'll show you, go and check him out. That's right, 12S and Super S. Actually, Buddy, have you heard from Mike and Mark at all? I haven't heard from them for ages now. Been pretty quiet on that front. Been months since I've heard from either of them. The channel's been very quiet. Same thing for TRX Bench. I've forgotten his name. Wow, that's bad. I'm bad at remembering names anyway. Rogel, yeah. If you want more modern stuff as well, there's more modern versions like Siglent also do signal generators, but it depends on your budget. I mean, you can get some nice generators for the more modern ones rather than these older style ones. I mean, the old style stuff is what I'm more familiar with because that's what I've been using myself. Interesting. Yeah, so I mean, there's lots of modern versions. I mean, all the brands have them. You can get the various ones. I think there's I think Hantec might even do one. But you have to be careful about not getting a DDS. Don't get a DDS one. It's too noisy. Peter, that's right. Okay, just busy at work. Okay. Yeah, I kind of figured he was busy. I think I actually emailed him about 4 or 5 months ago. I think I emailed him saying, "Hey, I haven't seen you around for a while," and he said he was busy. So yeah, just surprised that these other YouTubers that do radio type stuff just disappeared. Kind of leaves a bit of a void, really. Yeah. So yeah, I do want to get some more radio work videos done. So I've got one of those radios to repair, and now I've got that other room set up and a bit more time because I've got some free weekends at the moment. I'm hoping to be able to get in there and do some videos on those and try and not look like an idiot because it's been so long since I've worked on them. Well, I think I did a live stream last time. I actually heard from Mike actually, from Mike's Radio Repair. Last time he was on stream. And I was trying to. I don't know what the hell was in my head, but I did something really dumb. I mixed up my testing. I was trying to do 2 different kinds of tests at the same time. I was like an idiot anyway. 6, 7 weeks since you've been talking to him. Who was that, Ray? Is that Peter or Mike? I'm getting some more drop packets coming up now. See how long my stream can hold out for. Yeah, I'll be streamed by, yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's a bit hard trying to balance out the whole promotional thing and working with companies like, you know, I the review stuff I do is for like Siglent. I've got a good relationship with Siglent. Rob, I don't know if Rob's still even here. They lend me gear via Rob. Rob lends me gear to look at and play around with, and make some videos with, because people like those things, you know, like new bits of gear. And anything I get from Banggood for free. Again, I have to try and keep a good relationship, but also I want to be fair and give an honest review. So sometimes like trying to get that balance of not being scathing of something which you don't like, and you know, saying you do or do not like it, but not being scathing in a way that you don't upset the company who gave it to you. It's a bit of that. I've approached a few other companies as well. I did have Rohde Schwarz, who were going to give me some stuff about a year ago, but they changed their mind. They thought I didn't have a big enough channel at the time, so I might actually reapproach them now. I've got 11,000 subs, and see if I can get some Rohde Schwarz stuff. That'd be nice. And who else is it? Peak Electronics in the UK. Might have little meters, little LCR meters and stuff like that. They were going to send me some stuff, but I guess they're just really busy, and it fell to one side for some reason, and I emailed back a couple of times, and they said, "Yep, sure, we're going to send you something. We're just going to finish some development work we're doing," or something like that, and nothing's ever happened. So I guess it is really busy and not particularly high priority. Yeah. Oh, Mark, okay. So Mark's still around at least, yeah. Lincoln Mark 1, okay, yeah. I've got some other videos like I've got 4, might be 5, 4 or 5 either HR2510s or Lincolns which I need to fix in my box of radios. I've got some ones which I've picked up as parts radios, but they're mostly complete, and I reckon I can probably fix them. So I've got things like that sitting around, so I've got more of those to do. I do actually have a video. That's a video footage recorded. Yeah, I did part 1 of a HR2510. Part 2 is, well, God, this is 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Part 2 I've recorded a bunch of stuff on, but I didn't quite finish it. I think I don't know what I was up to then, but that's 3 years ago, and I've still got to finish that video. I've still got a radio. Some of these radios I've been digging out to start working on. I thought, wow, I started recording this footage 3 years ago. It's been a while. Just like this computer I'm trying to fix over here, I've had this for a couple of years as well. Oh, yeah, still there, Rob. Yep. So, yeah, I do intend to try and do some more radio videos. They have been fairly popular. They've done okay. Maybe not initially. Sometimes when I publish a video, it will be, I don't know, I might get a below average number of views initially when I first publish it, but then after 6 months or so, sometimes I actually pick up and do a lot better. I guess it gets discovered by someone looking for something. I don't know, but so I've got a bunch of radios to do. I've got Cobra 25s, Cobra 29s, President Grant, HR2510, Lincoln, yeah, a few of those, a few of each radio pretty much, and that's what I've got sitting there. I think I've got some other stuff too. But what I was doing for a while, a few years ago, before the flood, is I was actually buying CBs off eBay, broken ones, looking for ones which are a good price, buying them, and I did a couple of videos at the time, but then the flood hit, and the radios which I'd either fixed and done videos on already got damaged, or stuff which I was waiting to do, which I planned, queued up to do repairs on, got damaged even further. So I've got a bunch of stuff there to do. I just smell getting around to it. Yeah. So yeah, definitely going to be doing more CB radio stuff. I do like doing the CB stuff. It's kind of, until about 4 or 5 years ago, a lot of what I was doing was CB radio with work, you know, repairs and stuff like that. but not necessarily right. I wasn't doing it necessarily the right way. Self-taught and just figuring things out as I go, kind of thing, and didn't have all the proper gear and nothing like I've got now. So it's always a bit sort of cobbled together and fixing what I could see, and not necessarily doing proper testing as far as power outputs and spectral purity and that sort of stuff, and making sure they're not putting out distortion and correct modulation levels and that sort of stuff. That wasn't really there. 16-bit DDS? No, I haven't. The only DDS I play around with have been too noisy. You can hear the pulses in the waveform. You can actually hear it in the audio. So that's what I haven't liked. The ones I've tried, I think. Unless I'm missing something which is the DDS, which I haven't thought of. I don't know. Probably was a lower bit rate. Probably only 12 bit or something like DDS I've looked at that I can think of. Might even be less than that, actually. Might even be 10 bit. It was a while ago and I looked at one. So what do you think about there, Rob, with a 16 bit? Is that the I'm thinking of the SDG. Maybe CB will make a comeback, yeah. So I was really busy with CB stuff when I was 20 years ago. I had quite a lot to do. It was quite popular, and over the years it's got quieter and quieter. And I do very little now. So even the radios I'm trying to sell don't necessarily sell. I've had them sitting there for a while. But I've actually got a couple available for sale now, which I'm going to sell, do an auction site. Now, didn't I have one of those before, Rob? Was that the one I tried before? I did a review on it about a year ago. That was a bit different. That was obviously designed for that purpose. What are we looking at? Hold on. Let me look now. Let me look at my video archive. I'm just trying to figure out. I have looked at some already. SSG. Yeah, looked at the SSG 3021. Yeah, so it's not the same one. SDG, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, I haven't looked at that yet. So that'd be good to play with, actually. See how that goes. But once things quieten down a bit, we can actually get to see each other again. So stay tuned, folks. You can see me do a SDG 6000X review at some point in the future, once things are able to be done. Yeah. Okay. I'm dropping more. Go on, say it. Dropping more frames. Internet connection's getting a little bit worse. Yeah. Okay. So yes, that's things that I want to plan, and I'm trying to sort of give you an idea of what I'm thinking of doing in the future, and things I plan to actually get around to doing. Plans don't always come true, but I'm intending to do videos on CB repair stuff and getting back into those, because I've got a bunch of them to do. And now I've got my other room set up, I can actually sit down and do that. It'd be nice if I had a second camera. It's the only thing I don't have two cameras, I've only got one camera. I don't include my phone as a camera for that, although I did use that for doing videos early on. Is that right? It is SGG, yeah. Okay. Is that right? Hold on a second. Okay. Why did I have SSG? I think I must... Actually, this rings a bell, actually. I think I remember fixing that in the video. I think I remember fixing that. Hold on a second. This is gonna... I need to sort this out now. No, it's... Yeah. Go on, load YouTube. I do have SSG. SSG 3021X. That's what I've got all over the video. Video number 524. Now I'm confused. Oh, okay, yeah, cool, right. So SSG is right. Phew. Didn't get it completely wrong then. Something does sound familiar though. I think I may have called it SDG at the beginning, maybe. I changed it to SSG, it just sounds familiar. Something like that. Yeah, I imagine CB will be picking up a little bit with people stuck at home trying to find things to do. I think I'll just get the old radio out, so play with that. Cool, alright. That's right, okay. Drop more frames. My internet connection is definitely dropping. That's right, SSG, IF gens, SD gen at AWGs, right. Yeah, okay. I do remember I've looked at this before when I was looking at the model numbers and stuff like that. But, yeah, I don't remember everything. Maybe for about 5 minutes and it's gone again. I don't know. If I'm lucky. Okay, so at least we got some decent results today. So I'm happy about that. That unit there, got that fixed. And what was the other things I was going to talk about? Some other videos I was planning on doing. I've still got MacBook stuff to do. I've still got half a dozen MacBooks sitting there waiting for me to get around to them as well. Although they're quite troubled units. They've got a bit of damage to them and they're being a bit of a pain to get right. So I think one there I was kind of fixing it and it got worse, not better. Had some other faults which showed up when I was trying to work on it. Yeah, I've got a few there to try and get through. And something else. I've got another security light failure. One of my other security lights outside, like sensor lights. The Fresnel lens is broken on that. I need to try and find some Fresnel lens. See if I can repair that one. Yeah. Doing more videos whilst you've got time is nice. But you have to be in a place where you can do it, can't you? That's the problem. Get a bit stuck otherwise. I've dropped a whole bunch of frames. Yeah, I'm dropping frames now. That's it. My internet connection is definitely dying. I'm dropping loads. Okay, I think it's time to kill the stream. Because it's going to kill itself for you soon. Yeah, that's definitely playing up quite badly. Okay. So yeah, I think it's going to time to end the stream now. We'll call it a day. I'm sitting here waffling anyway. Although I've got 40 people watching. How'd that happen? Hello everyone that's just joined. Rewind. Hold on a second, let's read this. Charges. Okay. Already else to the right. Okay. Right. Yeah, never underestimate the power supplies on the MacBooks. I've had power supply problems before. I can't remember what it was now. It was a 15-inch. So when I first started doing MacBook repairs, and I had a 15-inch here, and I was was it 17? I can't remember. But the power supply that should have worked on it didn't like it. And so the MacBook wouldn't work on that power supply. I was thinking the MacBook's dead and I couldn't get the power up, and just like SMC problems and things like that. And I placed the SMC and it still didn't fix it. It's like, what's going on? And by chance I happened to have a different power adapter there, and I plugged it into that one and it fired up. It's like, there's nothing wrong. It was the bloody power supply. It didn't like the power supply. Okay, yeah, my seems to stop dropping frames now, but it's getting dodgy. This time of day is when my internet gets quite bad. Anything after 10 o'clock is risking it. Depends on the day as well. But yeah, we'll see how we go. What's the other thing I was going to say? Yeah, so MacBook's got to do. Still need to get back to this Fluke 5200A in order to get back onto that and finish that thing. The Valhalla calibrator as well. Yeah, I probably also want to do some things like calibrations on multimeters, like my Fluke. What is it? What's that bloody number on there? I've forgotten what it is now. That's it. 8842A. I could see that's got some issues with calibration on the resistance ranges, the low end of resistance ranges, based on what the calibrator is outputting. So that could use a bit of a tweak. My Fluke 45, that is off on DC volts at least, so I probably want to calibrate that as well at some point. So there's probably some videos I want to do tinkering around those kinds of things too. There's little jobs I want to do, but they're not particularly urgent. There's things I'd like to get around to doing and be, doing a video. It might be interesting for some people. Yeah, I've got things like, also got a DVD drive sitting over there from a computer DVD drive, which was in my machine here. It's not even that old. It's not even had that much usage. A couple of years probably, and it stopped reading DVDs. So I was going to pull that apart and maybe give it a clean. Thought I'd do a video on that. That's been sitting there for about a year now. I really should get around to doing that. Yeah, I've got lots of little projects and things I wanted to get onto. Maybe do some more 3D printing videos as well. Might do something on that, some other stuff. Maybe I'll do a video printing a new housing for this. Seeing as there's a lot of these out there and they all have the same problem, maybe I need to look at making this, because this is actually really easy. You just unscrew this knob here, and that slides off, and there's the actual tweezers. Alright, and it's all this is this housing here is what's making these align. You got a lot of slop in the hinge. Don't see that there. See that? So it's just this little hinge point that's down there. It's got a lot of slop in it. So there's probably ways of 3D printing some bits for that. Improve that hinge assembly. Tighten all that up. It's a project I could do, maybe 3D printing project on that. Improve these tweezer irons. Oh yeah. You have to get them done while the lockdown. Well, I go back to work in a couple of days' time. I did say that at the beginning of the stream, but I'm not sure you were here at the time. I'm actually going back to work. Yeah, in 2 days' time I'll go back to work, because the lockdown goes down to level 3 from level 4, which means certain industries can go back to work, and my job is one of them. So I'll be going back to work in a couple of days. So good, I suppose, but yeah, we'll see how that ends up being. In a way, it's quite nice to get back to work. But on the other side of it, I've been making a lot of progress with a lot of things I've been meaning to get around to for ages. I've dropped another 300 frames. Yeah, internet's not great. Yeah, alright. What else was I going to look at doing videos on? What else was there? I've got my list there. I should really put them into my list, shouldn't I? That's what I should do. So let's put these in here. Part of the problem is that I have an idea of something I want to do in a video. I think, oh, that'd be good. I'll do that one day, and then I probably forget about it. And then a few months later, I go, oh, that's right, I was going to do that, and then I forget. So I really need to actually be a bit more religious about, well, pedantic about putting things into my list here of things I need to actually fix and things I want to do videos on. So that's probably what I should be doing, is putting them into my list here and actually trying to remember to do them. With everything else talking about MacBooks, done that. DVD drive. Okay. Yeah, part of it's trying to remember what I'm going to be doing, as well as finding the time. You're going back to work on Tuesday as well? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Also, I said, what have I missed something I've done? Keyboard home theatre system, MacBooks, DVD drive cleaning, 3D printing, that thing. What else was I saying just now about other things I wanted to do? I've obviously forgotten something. I'm sure it's something else. Oh yes, these. Calibrating multimeters. Calibrating the Fluke 842A resistance and the Fluke 45. I think the Fluke 45 needs calibrating on just about everything. It's off on just about everything. I think that's part of the reason I got it cheap at the time, because it wasn't reading accurately. It's close, but it's not that great. Oh yeah, working from home, yeah. Okay, well, I'll catch you later, mate. Okay, so calibrate nose. What else? That East Tester LCI meter I picked up and did a review on a couple of months ago. What's the model number on that? E4401. I did actually contact East Tester because I think they saw my video or something. I can't remember exactly what it was now. But I was actually in contact with them a little bit as well after that review. And apparently it cannot be upgraded to 1 kilohertz testing. So what you buy is what it is. You can't hack it, apparently. I did ask them about upgrades to make it a 100 kilohertz version from the 10 kilohertz, whatever it is. And they said it wasn't possible, which is a bit of a shame. So I wished I'd actually got the higher version, but that's what Banggood sent me. Because I asked for one of those models, and that's the one they sent. Because of the cost, I think the cost is a bit significant there, bit of a difference there. Power meters, Boonton power meters. That's a point. Yes, I've got one of those. Still needs fixing. I've got underneath my desk here, actually, sitting under there. Is the square nice one. I've got one up there, which you can't quite see. There you go. The one sitting up there on the shelf, which we did as well. Did both of them. That one on the shelf seems to be working okay. I'm sitting down too long. Down. and the other one, which we did a recapping on a live stream, but it still doesn't work properly, so I need to revisit that one. I can't remember the model number on that one. What is it? 4200. Boonton 4200. Finished repairing it. I started it. Dell laptop only starts at the BIOS reset. Yeah, I wouldn't have a clue about that. How many patrons you got now anyway, buddy? I haven't actually looked in a while. I don't know if you got it public, I don't know. If you don't want to say, it's fine. Just wondering. Okay, what else we got to fix? Or work on videos for. So I've got a video which I'm planning on doing for. I've already done it. No, I've already done it. I must have already done it. The LoRa to Wi-Fi gateway. I think I might have already done a video on that. Projects. Yeah, I've done a video on that already. In fact, I've done 2 videos on it. Memories like a sieve. Yeah, so I did the videos on that already, so I can forget that one. Just trying to think what else I was going to do stuff on. We've got a whole bunch of these old security cameras lying around, which have all failed in various ways. Sometimes LED, sometimes it's actual camera assembly itself. I did a couple before when I transplanted bits between cameras. I think I've done a video on that, but these are old analog ones. I don't use these anymore, these old analog ones anyway. I'm using IP cameras now. Around 71, cool, that's good. It's a fairly reasonable number, isn't it? I've got 19 currently. I gained a couple in the past month actually, yeah. So yeah, I think people being stuck at home's helped a little bit. Would I accept an old Soviet tube radio as a gift for teardown? Thank you very much, very generous. But tube radio stuff and tube stuff I don't do. I don't do any old tube stuff. The closest I've got to doing tube stuff is this beastie right here. It's old Heathkit signal tracer, and it's an old tube unit. It's got high voltage on the output, stuff like that, so you have to be careful with them. But yeah, this is like this is the only tube thing I've really worked on ever, which I was comfortable with. I've got some old tube ham radios 20 years ago. I did look at a couple, but that's not something I do. I don't do tube stuff, not really. And the only reason I did tube stuff on this is because signal tracer is a really handy thing to have when you're working on radios. So you can program your IF sections to pick up audio signals and stuff like that, and trace things through. But yes, it's generous of you to offer. Thank you very much, but it's not the kind of thing I work on. If we cam actuated cores burnt out. Okay, interesting. I'm not too familiar with security cameras, the way they work as such. I mean, these are just basic, fairly cheap ones. Extremely dusty because I've been sitting here for a while. I was thinking about maybe doing some videos on these in some way. But I mean, it'd be easy enough to test them, I suppose. Power on a analog signal line out. But some of them are just the infrared LEDs are blown. The actual camera itself is still working. Some completely dead. I think this one's completely dead. Yeah, got another one here which had a power surge. This one here has had a power surge through it. Yeah, and this one's dead, doesn't respond. So this might be an interesting one. I don't know if it's fixable. BK878. BK878. I'm not familiar with that. Time to go searching. Seriously? No results? Hold on. Because it grabbed the whole thing, not just a bit I selected. Let's try that, shall we? Here we go. Alright. It's loading a page. I think I've seen those. That's... yeah, that's very similar to DER. Yeah, very similar as far as form factor and interface stuff. It looks very similar. Well, that's quite nice to get that as a gift from Patreon. That's nice. Concord 1080. I've heard of that. Concord 1080. That rings a bell. Oh yeah. From JCar. That'd be right, would it? Yeah, I thought I'd seen them. What kind of transistor radios do you mean? If it's like broadcast radios, like general, like shortwave kind of things, or like, that's not what I work on either. There's a couple of people which I can recommend if you're interested, who also who do that kind of work and do videos. Simon Spears, I don't know if you're familiar with him, and maybe All the Gear No Gear. I'm going to say All the Gear No Idea. Chris, I think he may do some as well. I know some other guys that do them as well, which I've heard mentioned. Names currently escape me. Okay, thanks, buddy. Catch you later, mate. Yeah, Jake Imran. Yeah, I thought I'd seen it. Yeah. Having IP cameras makes a big difference. You know, there's proper digital cameras that makes it much better. Old Soviet ones, okay. Who else might be interested in those? Yeah, except really old gear, I'm not. If I'm getting stuff, things which are aligned to what I'm interested in as well, if I can, like I try and focus more on test gear than anything else. I mean, little consumer items like this are interesting sometimes. Older gear is not really suited to me, really. Other people be better suited to it, more familiar with that kind of equipment. A lot of these things I wouldn't really know where to start. It'd be wasted on me, if you know what I mean. He does Soviet stuff. Have I seen him doing Soviet stuff? I know I've seen someone doing Soviet stuff. I'm working on that, and you know, it'd be the same kind of era, I think. Can't think the name. But thanks for the offer anyway. I just don't think it's the sort of thing I'd be looking for. Yeah. I'm trying to think what the name is now. Anyone want to throw any names out there for YouTubers which maybe work on that kind of gear in case it pops up? Let's try and think. Even if for your own interest, maybe it might just be for that, for you to see them. Oh, I really can't think of the names. It's incredible. See if I can. I might have to look it up. Look at my subscriptions list. See if I can find a name. Died Gone Wild, maybe. Oh, where is it? Come on. So I'm just trying to find this name. I've got a lot of subscriptions here. And I'm probably going to go straight past it and get it completely wrong anyway. Oh, come on, where is it? That's another channel I haven't heard from for a while. Skullcom. Skullcom Hobby Electronics. He seems to have disappeared as well. He was doing a lot of little projects and things like that, and making some quite nice projects and very interesting. And it's just stopped. It's a bit interesting. I don't see it. Oh well, I guess it's. I don't know. I don't. Maybe something I stumbled across some point. Yeah. No. Close it off again. Catch up with chat. Mr. Carlson, yeah, maybe he might be interested, but it's not the one I was thinking of. Old test gear I'm interested in, just not valve stuff. Anything transistorized in test gear, preferably Western, as it were, not Russian. That's probably what I'd be interested in. I'm certainly interested in test gear, definitely, but nothing with valves in it. I'll try and stay away from valve stuff because I don't really know enough about it. Although in theory it's supposed to be similar, but I just don't get valve stuff. Analog, yeah. No, not Tecmo. That's not what I was thinking of. The Experiment. No, I don't know that one. Radio Rescue. That rings a bell. Maybe. Maybe. Glasslinger. Lots of names here that I haven't seen. Seems that The Experiment is also the name of a movie. And it's not coming up in searches. That's really helpful. Last thing, I have to look that one up. I'm always interested in looking at other channels and what other people are making and the way they fix things, or even just the equipment they're looking at. You know, it's always very interesting. I quite enjoy looking at what other people are up to. 18,000 subs. Oh yeah. Repairing things. Yeah, subscribe to him. Looks interesting. Check those out later on. It wasn't what I was thinking of, but yeah. Hi, Guneeve. Okay. Hello. Retro Game Mods. I haven't followed him for a while. I've seen him. I think I used to be subscribed to him. But as I'm not really into older game consoles as such, well, older games or gaming stuff, I'm not really into that. So I think I looked at it because it was interesting at the time for the repairs and things like that. But yeah, I haven't really looked at it for a while. Let's just have a look. Where am I subscribed to him? I don't know, am I? No, I'm not subscribed to him anymore. So yeah, I must have unsubscribed to him. I just had to thin out my subscription list because it's getting a bit ridiculous. I was missing things I wanted to see because I just had so much there, and I was getting a lot of stuff which I wasn't really so interested in. 3 years ago. Yeah, it's been a while since I posted a video. Last video was 3 years. Been a while. Okay. Yeah, I just can't think what that bloody channel name is. The one which I was thinking of with the Russian stuff. Okay, thanks, Mark. Catch you later. I know Diode's Gone Wild has had I can't say it. Diode's Gone Wild has had some stuff like that. But what's the other channel? I don't know. That's going to frustrate me. I'll probably remember in about an hour's time or something. All right. Well, my throat's had enough, and it's getting towards midday, so it's time to have another coffee and have some lunch and stuff like that, and keep the wife happy and go and cut the grass, maybe. So I think I'm going to call it a day. I'll catch you in the next stream, I think. I'm not sure it will work on next time. It might be that Kenwood receiver, Kenwood tuner receiver, amplifier thing, what you want to call it. I might do that next. I don't know if I'll do a stream next week or not. Maybe. We'll see how we go. I've got some other stuff I want to get done too. But depends on how I feel. If I can be bothered. I have to be motivated. Yeah. I was going to do a stream last week, but I couldn't bother then. I was just a bit tired. So, okay. Well, thanks for everyone dropping by. I'm going to call it a day. And hopefully I'll see you in the next stream. So watch out for me doing notifications on Twitter and on YouTube, my community section and stuff like that. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe, get a notification, and I'll try and do. I might do a stream next week. We'll see how we go, and hopefully we'll catch you all then in the next one. Also, I'm on Library as well. Like Dave, you might have seen Dave pushing his Library channel. I'm on there as well. I'm on Library. Although Library is basically a copy of what I've got on YouTube. YouTube stuff goes onto Library. Library doesn't really. I don't get notifications about comments or anything like on Library. So if you comment on Library videos, I probably won't see it ever. Whereas on YouTube, I do generally get notified, or at least I can see them. So helping to keep me sane. I can only go so far. Can't fix everyone, David. Okay. Thanks everyone dropping by, and I'll catch you all next time. Whenever that's going to be. Might be a week, might be 2 weeks. We'll see. Thanks for dropping by. Catch you later.